Hey, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Look how tiny I am over here. Hey, I want to first and foremost say good morning to the Cooter Crew. Thank you for joining at this last minute. I had no idea that this was even coming out this morning. So I have to give a huge shout out to the Evile CJ because he was awesome to give us early access to this. Hey, Sarah. Hey, Casey. Angie B. Melissa B. Incognito Potato. Shell. Kels are all your mods this morning. They will take good care of you. They will take really good care of you. I'm going to try to keep my opinion out of it for a minute. Hey, Body. Good to see you. Every time I see your damn name, I get that Beastie Boys song stuck in my head. Body moving. And every time, but that's a good thing because I love the Beasties. Without further ado, let's get into it. We're going to first have Dog the Bounty Hunter and his lawyer, which is not the same lawyer we saw yesterday. And good morning, Kendo. Hey, butter. I want some buttered toast. Is that what your name is from, Body? Body moving. Good morning, Trisha. Good morning, Rapunzel. Rapunzel. Okay, here we go. Let's listen to the first segment. Thank you so much again to Evile CJ.
Shining the spotlight on the search for missing teen Sebastian Rogers.
Volume
In just a
good,
moment,
guys?
we're going to be
Let me know.
talking to Dog the Bounty Hunter, who is helping in Sebastian's search. He's helping Sebastian's father, Seth Rogers, look for his missing son. And a little later in the show, I'm going to be speaking with Seth Rogers, who has not given up on finding his son.
Good morning, 911.
He needs to call 911. And if somebody has him, you need to give him back. He's my son, and he doesn't belong to nobody, but damn it, he's mine.
Now, the teen with autism has been missing since February from the Hendersonville, Tennessee home that he shared with his mother and with his stepfather. I want to welcome in now our very special guest, Dwayne Chapman, a.k.a. Dog the Bounty Hunter, and he's also accompanied by his attorney, Bruce Castor. Good morning to you both. Dog, I want to begin with you, please. When you think about, all of the things that could have happened with Sebastian, I want to ask you, based on all of the facts and information that you know, what is your theory, the theory of the case that you have, and what is helping you and aiding in your pursuit of him?
Well, two questions. The theory is, my theory, the only theory that I have is he's missing. Whether he's still alive or not, that's not, I thought in the beginning that he might be alive, and the more tips we have, the more people, the more things we're figuring out, he might not be alive. So, it's not my theory of how I find people. Sometimes it's completely different than what I think. And the way we find him and help is someone, we know there's two people that were involved in his disappearance, but someone.
Did you hear that? We know there's two people involved in his disappearance. Body moving. Good catch. Bruce Castor is on that Joseph Lesniak press release. Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to say, if you got a letter from these people, I wouldn't ignore it. I wouldn't say it's bullshit. That's just me. There's a lot of money behind these people. And Dog the Bounty Hunter has worked very hard for his reputation, and y'all may not even agree with me, and I don't care. I don't care anymore because I've seen the stupidity on this platform when it comes to investigation tactics. I've seen the stupidity. I've seen it go right over people's heads, and I don't care anymore. This guy has worked his ass off to get where he is. I don't give a shit if you like his hair or you rag on how old he is. This man has worked his ass off to get from where he was to where he is now. And if you think he's going to let some fucking TikTokers and YouTubers talk about his name, saying that he's putting up fake rewards, that the reward isn't real, that he could never find Sebastian? You think he's going to just sit back and let that happen? He's not. He has every right to defend his reputation when people are saying he's lying. So I think it's very fair. And if I got a letter from these people, I would not fuck with it. But that's just me, because I know how much federal fucking lawyers cost. I've been through a federal copyright case, and federal lawyers are upwards $500 an hour. So I think people need to be very careful with what they say about people if they don't know it's true, right? We got to be careful. We have to be responsible with our platforms. I think that's the lesson being learned here. But let's go back. How does he know there's two people? I don't know that. But do you guys think that he's going to say that if he didn't know? Do you think he's going to put his reputation on the line for this one case that is hot on YouTube? I don't think so. Let's listen to that part again.
Someone else has, there's two. And the way we find him and help is someone, we know there's two people that were involved in his disappearance, but someone else has to know. And $100,000 reward that's been put up is, $1/10,000,000. That's a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
So we're waiting on we have 833 Tell Dog. My partner, Nick the Hat, has got his number out there. We're waiting.
Okay, did you hear that? For all of those people who couldn't grasp this concept from the beginning, he hasn't publicly claimed Nick. Well, they're federal, they're talking about sending federal indictment, or not indictments, but something. But anyways, I'm sure he's got plenty of attorneys. I mean, you think this guy doesn't have more than one attorney? He said, my partner, Nick. So for those of you that said, oh, this is bullshit. No, they're working together. Federal injunctions. Thank you, Trevor's mom. Federal injunctions. I mean, y'all have to remember there's a lot of people taking money in this case. There's been a lot of shit show over on TikTok with Tony, money, etc. Not just Tony, but putting it off on other people. As far as I know, Tony hasn't claimed any money. And we all know that Seth has put numerous accounts and had them in other people's names. I just think living for all, if the message is meant for you, you'll understand it. If you were one of those two people, you would understand it. But to hate on Nick and hate on Dog just because of your own personal feelings, that's fine. You can not like them, but you can't defame them. And it doesn't matter if they have a criminal record or not. You still can't defame people. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just defame Nick because he has a criminal record. You can't call his probation officer and harass him just because he has a criminal record. 95% of the people on YouTube probably have criminal records. But I mean, I'm just sitting back waiting to see who doubles down, triples down, and goes down on Dog. Because I think they're going to have a rude awakening. Flower Nana, who am I defaming? You want a link? Flower? Come on up. See, I'm not in the mood for this shit. You're going to come in here and make statements about me. You tell me who the fuck I'm defaming. No, always. It's not okay for Seth to defame CP and KP. I never said that. That's not what I'm talking about. It's not okay to defame anyone. I feel Nick's criminal record plays here, though. Someone who fabricates evidence should not be investigated.
Creep town, dude.
Well, there's a lot of ex-criminals that, do things, if you know what I mean. Yeah, that no one should be calling parole officers. That's craziness. But, sometimes it takes a criminal to catch a criminal, if you catch my drift. And I know it's not a favorable way for people to hear investigations are going, but sometimes they do. Sometimes they do, and that's the facts, right? So this is the team that is here to put pressure on whoever did something to Sebastian. So let's
for
go back.
someone
Right here.
money. So we're waiting on we have 833 Tell Dog. My partner, Nick the Hat, has got his number out there. We're waiting for someone to call in on the tip line and give us a real live tip.
Doug, would you give us an update, please, on any good information that's come in so far? Has anything you've received in the way of tips been at all viable?
Well, my lawyer's giving me stink eye. I better watch my mouth because,
Hey, Queen Bee.
allegedly, that's the word. Allegedly,
Yes.
allegedly.
Sure.
Allegedly, it was people need to read the facts. How'd the boy get out the back? How come no one did anything? Why was the stepfather threatening people that were out looking for the boy? Volunteers were out there and he was threatening them. Is there a family tie between either side of the family, between sexual perversion really bad? I mean, there's a lot of things that the public can look at before, it goes to a jury. And all roads lead to Rome.
All roads lead to Rome. Does anyone know what that statement means? And Queen Bee, I just got your email and just emailed you back, girl. I got you. I got you. These attorneys aren't stupid. They aren't going to risk their careers for this. They know more than we think. I agree, Mystic. And I think sometimes you just have to, sit back and wait for things. Sexual perversion shown, like Sean pretending to M on a panel. Maybe a connection. Maybe. Hold on, Queen. I'm going to write you back again. Okay. Let's go back. I want to hear that again.
Doug, tell us.
All it can look at before, it goes to a jury. And all roads lead to Rome.
Doug, tell us about the roads that you've been walking along in your search. Would you kind of bring us into your world? What have you been doing on the ground there? Tell us a little bit about how your searching process goes, if you would, please.
Well, we don't have a crystal ball. I'm follow the words of Jesus. So, I can't look and say, Jesus, where is he? So the only roads to Rome are people that call in and leave tips. Someone else knows what happened. Absolutely. In a 10-year career, I've captured, or a 48-year career, I've captured more than 10,000 fugitives. And this is not my first rodeo looking for a lost child. We've been 100% successful in that. And the reason why is people need to call in and to tell us what's going on. We've got leads.
Okay, so this is what it means. I'm going to put it in chat. I just Googled it. All roads lead to Rome is an expression meaning that different approaches can achieve the same outcome. Think about that while we watch this. Think about that statement.
A lot of leads are credible, and some leads are, Dog, when are you going to get a show? We love you, Dog. We love Francie. We love that. We love you too, but stay off the line. We need credible leads.
Absolutely. Well, you are beloved, Dog. I know you don't need me to tell you that. And
Thank you.
Believe me, everybody has the world of confidence in you. When we found out that you were joining the search, I was asking my power panel on the show, who are you going to bet on finding Sebastian, Dog or the FBI? And everybody's saying you. Everybody wants to take that bet with you. And so tell us, does that put any pressure on you? Tell me, does it fuel your fire? What do you think when you hear so much confidence from the public in you and in the work that you do?
Well, that incites me. I get all excited because I am the greatest bounty hunter in the world. No one can ever catch over 10,000 fugitives.
True.
No one. FBI works Monday through Friday. The marshals are the only ones come close, and they got to have 12.
Okay, so listen to that. The FBI and the marshals only have so many agents and so much time in a day. You have to listen to what he's saying.
I'm sorry,
Listen again.
the Marsh 10,000, the greatest bounty hunter in the world. No one can ever catch over 10,000 fugitives. No one. FBI works Monday through Friday. The marshals are the only ones come close, and they got to have 12. I'm sorry, marshals, but they're you know, the more it just gets us excited, gets us crazy. And I have a team. You know, my Francie helps me. Many people help me. Nick the Hat, my team, and then I have one of the greatest lawyers in the world for this particular subject. I mean, this guy is like, it's just incredible. So anywhere you go, you must have a good lawyer in this business. So please, let's pass this on to him.
Isn't that the truth? Well, and Bruce, I'm not just saying this. I said to Dawn, he's in great hands. Bruce, anything that you would like to add? I know you're here primarily to accompany Dog with this appearance. Is there anything that you think that's important to note with respect to the search and Dog's involvement in leading the charge to help Seth Rogers find Sebastian?
Well, as a more than 3 days.
Sleuth says he did say Brian Laundrie was camping out on some island at Fort DeSoto, and that wasn't the case, just saying. But Dog the Bounty Hunter was the first one who got the records from Fort DeSoto campsite to find out that the Laundries camped there, and that was why he searched there. So it kind of makes sense to me.
Decade law enforcement official myself in Pennsylvania, the former district attorney and former attorney general, I know what the local authorities must be feeling and the frustration they must be feeling. And I know from my own experience that sometimes you need to rely on people like Dog, experts that are willing to give their time and energy to come and assist law enforcement in doing their job. And, you know, I'm stunned when I learned about the facts of this case that, you know, the young boy has left the home.
By the way, this is Trump's impeachment lawyer. If you haven't noticed, if you're not a politic follower, this is Trump's impeachment lawyer. Did you hear me? I mean, this isn't a joke. I don't know why people are still treating this like a joke. We have a whole ass teenager missing. A whole ass teenager. And y'all think that Dog the Bounty Hunter is playing fucking games? I just can't. I can't with this. You think that these people are going to play games when a whole ass teenager is missing? No way. And I'm tired of it all being, you know, talked about like it's a joke.
Creep Town, dude.
Because this isn't a joke. If I got a legal document from this lawyer, I'd be a little concerned because I can't afford to fight people like this.
Of his mother and his, you know, I'm stunned when I learned about the facts of this case that, you know, the young boy has left the home of his mother and his stepfather, and they don't seem to be particularly broken up about that. I'm sure that that is sticking in the minds of a lot of people who want to know what the answer to that is. I also was struck by the fact that the people doing the search, Dog, Nick the Hat, and some of the other people are facing death threats and other problems against their safety. And these are things that just can't happen. I mean, we need to encourage people when they put up money for reward to try to get people to call in. That's not any kind of any impropriety. That's good citizenship. That's what we want to encourage. And people who do things to deter that are, in my judgment, not being good Americans. And we have very
I
fine
agree.
people, Dog and Nick and the whole crew are doing a tremendous job. And from where I sit, if it gets any worse, I'm going to recommend that they take legal action, because this is totally unreasonable. And
you want him to take legal action against y'all? If you do, keep talking shit. That's all I got to say. Keep talking your shit. Because you know what? If these guys are doing something, who are we as YouTubers or TikTokers to question their integrity, to question what they're doing? Oh, because Nick has a criminal record, it's our job to judge him? Okay, everybody with a criminal record on YouTube, get in fucking line, because we're going to judge all of you. I mean, come on. Glenda, that's your assumption. See what I mean? You're stating that as a fact, and that can get you in trouble. You're stating that as a fact. That you don't know that. You don't know that he's superseding anything. You're stating your opinion as fact, and that's what's getting people in trouble. Just saying. But April, how do you know what they're getting? That's what I'm saying. You guys are saying all this like it's fact. I don't get it. I can't take your opinion as fact. We don't know if they're getting the whole truth. We don't know what they're doing. So who are we to sit here and judge? We've been hearing about death threats since the beginning. Seth has been telling us that he's getting death threats since the beginning. This is not new news. It's not. They're using Seth's narrative. We've heard this since the beginning. How do you know they're only getting one side of the story? You don't know who they're talking to. We don't know what we don't know. And we know that the Proudfoots have not taken any legal action to squelch them.
law enforcement and the community working together will solve this crime.
Right. Oh, amen. Bruce, I am with you 100%. When you said death threats, right away, my jaw.
Oh, whoa. Her jaw hit the floor. Yo, what happened?
Pennsylvania, as a prosecutor, and anybody making those kind of threats should be held accountable legally. You are right. And the threats don't solve the problem, do they? All they do is take everybody a step back, the good people who are searching for this young boy. With respect to Sebastian, Doug, I want to ask you, realistically, how confident are you in being able to bring Sebastian home?
Well, again, in the very beginning, I thought he might still be with us. It seems like, Sebastian has to have medication for sleep and other things, okay? And we have checked everywhere if those prescriptions have been renewed. And so far, they have not.
Okay.
So
here we go. Let me put this in perspective for you. If it was Chris and Katie, we know that Katie wanted Sebastian to take his meds, right? Katie had him on a routine. She wanted him to take his medications. Why would Katie take him somewhere and not give him his medication? It doesn't make any sense. Nursey, how do you know what jurisdiction they have? You're talking about a guy that was a prosecutor for the state of Pennsylvania. How do you know what their jurisdiction is? I mean, I'm saying this with all due respect. What were people supposed to think when Nick came on the scene saying what he was saying and then Hong? They were completely unprofessional. Well, you could think they're unprofessional, but to say what they're doing is they're lying about the reward and that they're not trying to find Sebastian, that's obviously what they have a problem with. But what I'm saying is no medication would point to the other parent, in my opinion. And you guys can say whatever you want. I'm just saying these guys aren't playing with his reputation. I don't think Nick gives a damn what people think of him, but this guy does. And he's got a lot of money behind him.
Again, everything is up in the air. You hope, I lost a little girl, Barbara Katie, and I, hope that she wasn't gone, and she was. So I don't, it is, who knows? We all pray to God that he's, somewhere safe and we'll find him. But when someone gets on whatever it is, TV, internet, and everything, and says, I guarantee you, dog will never, never find Sebastian. So many series on A&E, CMT, WGN, my show. We never missed one guy. A couple have gotten away because they died. So never have we ever missed. And for someone to come on and say, dog will never, ever find him. Yeah, why? You're guilty. Why? Because you did something to him. Why? You, again, allegedly is soon to become, with the jury of their peers, a conviction. And so I'm maybe more after that than I am anything else. We've got to find out who was involved in Sebastian's disappearance.
Preach, Doug, preach. And we are so sorry for the loss of your beautiful daughter, Barbara Katie. That is a pain that I think is unimaginable unless you've gone through it.
People forget, too, that he's lost a child. He lost a child. And Jacqueline, he did not say that. Do you know that Trump fired this guy that you're up here talking about? April. I don't know what you mean by you're a Chapman, but I don't think he's only getting his information from Tony. Exactly, Nash Native. What's the difference between dog searching and Silver or anyone else? If we're going to give those folks respect, then everyone deserves it. And I don't think this is a joke to him at all. Have you ever thought, Miss North, that maybe that was a tactic? I mean, do you really think that if they came out the gate blaming someone else that they really thought it was, that would be productive? Do you think if they come out the gate telling everybody what their tactic is here, that it would be effective? I don't think so.
And you certainly understand that enormous pain that comes with burying a child. And so our hearts go out to you for that and continuing with your resilience in life and in your profession. And speaking of parenting, we're going to be welcoming in Sebastian's father, Seth Rogers, in just a couple of moments. Dog is going to stay with us. Seth is going to be joining us. We're going to hit that break and be right back.
He did get arrested for catching the guy in Mexico. He got the guy that the FBI couldn't get, that the marshals couldn't get. And yeah, he got arrested afterwards, but he caught the guy. He caught the guy. Now, wait, Seth doesn't show his face. Watch this.
He decided that he wanted to step into a mound of what he thought was dirt, and it was fire ants. And since then, it's always been, he doesn't like to get his feet in the dirt. He likes to have his socks and shoes on.
Welcome back to Opening Statements. I'm Julie Grant. We're talking about what, if anything, can tip the scales of justice when it comes to finding missing teen Sebastian Rogers. Will somebody come forward with some new information? Will Dog the Bounty Hunter and his crew find some important clues? Still with me, Dwayne Chapman, a.k.a. Dog the Bounty Hunter. Want to welcome in also Seth Rogers' attorney, Tony Mathis, and we're working on getting Seth Rogers reconnected. Full disclosure, my friends, this is the world of live TV. We had Seth with us a moment ago and his signal dropped out, so we're going to be welcoming Seth in as soon as we can. Dog, let's kind of pick up where we left off in the last segment. You and your attorney, Bruce Castor, were sharing how with the tip line, there are also some death threats that are coming in. And so we wanted to kind of clarify that, please.
Okay, this is as bad as, the Sean thing, right? If you can't tell they're being put on blast, I don't know what to tell you. Tony looks like he's growing a beard.
just help a brother out.
He looks like he's growing a beard, but yes, he was introduced as Seth's lawyer. Thank you, Brenda, for your super chat. Miss Brenda. Yes, she did. It's kind of like the scene. Remember, Sean? Listen, but he corrects her. Watch. He doesn't want to be, impersonating a lawyer. Watch.
Are they coming in on how with the tip off in the last segment as soon as we can? Doug, let's kind of pick up where we left off in the last segment. You and your attorney, Bruce Castor, were sharing how with the tip line, there are also some death threats that are coming in. And so we wanted to kind of clarify that, please. Are they coming in on the tip line, or are these death threats coming in other forms?
Really, I don't know. I mean, that's one thing my whole career people have threatened to kill and destroy and this, and I'm a this and I'm a that. So I really don't pay any attention to that unless they're within 100 yards. And then my wife, Francie, she's a dead shot. So, really, we don't care. Everywhere she goes, she packs a real gun everywhere. We're in Florida. We go to different states. That's a pistol packing mama. So, and there's more than 9 shots in her gun. So we don't worry about that, because God, I'm on a mission from God. And if someone takes me out, then the next breath I have will be in the arms of Jesus. So come on with it,
You're unafraid. I love it. Unafraid and such a man of faith. You're
to Jesus. So come on with it,
You're unafraid. I love it. Unafraid and such a man of. You're unafraid.
So come on with it,
You're unafraid. I love it. Unafraid and such a man of faith. That's really admirable, Doug. Tony Mathis, let me talk to you, please. As we're working to get your client, Seth Roger, Sebastian's father, all ready to join us, what do you think is important for everyone to know at this point in the search for Sebastian, Tony?
Well, Julie, first off, let me correct you. I am his spokesperson. I'm certainly not an attorney.
Oh, well, we got some wrong information. I'm sorry. Thank you for that correction.
Dog, I hope you're doing okay today, brother.
brother.
We think that what's important right now is we're finally starting to get an enormous amount of horsepower in this case. When Dog and Nick they came in with a team of social media people, a team of investigators, a team of a legal team, and the case literally went nationwide overnight. So We're kind of getting reorganized. We're getting refocused. We're trying to get the people that want to be involved in this case refocused, where we've got one goal and one mission. And the truth is, everybody involved in the search, we don't all have to like each other or get along, but as long as we've got a common goal, then I think with Dog leading the charge, we can win here.
Finding Sebastian.
Why does he say that? We don't all have to get along. He's always talking about creators covering this in a positive way, etc. But we know now. We know now that Tony's goal behind the scenes, because TikTokers have come forward, his goal behind the scenes was to take all the attention off of Seth. Social media is the first because that's where Seth lives, in my opinion. He lives online. He's always online. He's in every chat. He's blocked those of us so we can't see him.
Exactly, Tony. And we have Seth.
May I interrupt real quick?
Go ahead, Doug.
May I interrupt? So, brother, let's get down to the real nitty gritty and let's don't do the blame game. But who do you guys think was responsible for Sebastian's disappearance? Everybody was blaming it on his father in the beginning. Everybody thought he wasn't at work. He wasn't a real sheriff. Blah, and all that now has been proven. So what would you guys say without getting, sued? My lawyer will take care of you. I don't think that's a conflict of interest, but
And we have just a
who do you
couple
think
seconds
is
left.
responsible?
Just cautioning you. Yeah, quickly, Tony.
Okay.
We're not going to make a statement on that.
Oh,
Okay. And I think we have Seth's audio, I'm being told. We don't have a video signal, but Seth, if you're there,
Seth,
we have
Seth has no video, no camera for Seth. No camera for Seth. Yeah, Tony looks a little uncomfortable, doesn't he? I don't think that question was expected.
a couple of seconds. Where is your head this morning, Seth?
Just trying to mull over all the intelligence that has come in to try to find out if any of it's going to lead me to my son.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Are you hopeful this morning, Seth?
I'm hopeful every morning.
That's the way to be.
I'm hopeful every night.
Anything you want to say to everyone who's searching and wants to find Sebastian and bring him home?
I appreciate everybody that's goal-oriented in finding my son. Sebastian is the only goal. Finding him is the only thing that matters.
That's right.
To me.
We are out of time. Thank you all. Let's bring Sebastian.
Again, cut off. Do you remember the last time they were cut off?
Home.
Only thing. I appreciate everybody that's
Home.
every night.
But Seth, if you're there,
In here.
finding Sebastian. Exactly, Tony.
And I think with
Tony,
you and
nervous.
Betty,
What do you think? Sorry.
In my whole career, people have threatened to kill and destroy, and this.
Another thing you have to pay attention to are the two clips they used in this segment. The clips they used was my son, da da da. It's always where Seth is taking ownership of Sebastian. I mean, I don't want to say too much, but yeah, I thought this was very strange. Hold on. I'm going to get another cup of coffee and let this play. I don't think they're being rude. I think there's a reason for it. I don't think Court TV is rude. I mean, they do interviews all the time, dude. It's not just going to be a coincidence that Seth and Tony get cut off short on 2 interviews on Court TV. Why doesn't someone tell him he's a P, how he got Katie when she was just a mere preteen? I think they have. And we're going to look at SF. There's a lot of posts on X that we need to look at. So listen to this part again.
And I'm a this and I'm a that. So I really don't
Watch
pay
how
any
he's
attention to
breathing.
that
Watch how
unless
he's
they're within
swallowing
100
hard. Watch his
yards.
breathing.
And then my wife Francie she's a dead shot. So, really, we don't care. Everywhere she goes, she packs a real gun everywhere. We're in Florida. We go to different states. That's a pistol packing mama. So, and there's more than 9 shots in her gun. So we don't worry about that, because God, I'm on a mission from God. And if someone takes me out, then the next breath I have will be in the arms of Jesus. So come on with it,
You're unafraid. I love it. Unafraid and such a man of faith. That's really admirable, Doug. Tony Mathis, let me talk to you, please. As we're working to get your client, Seth Rogers, Sebastian's father, all ready to join us, what do you think is important for everyone to know at this point in the search for Sebastian, Tony?
Julie, first off, let me correct you. I am his spokesperson. I'm certainly not an attorney.
Oh, we got some wrong information. I'm sorry. Thank you for that correction.
Oh, so sorry.
Dog, I hope you're doing okay today, brother.
She wants to fucking laugh at him. Dog laughed too. Oh, shit. Watch.
Person. I'm certainly not an attorney.
Oh, we got some wrong information. I'm sorry. Thank you for that correction.
Dog did the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, did he? Hold on. Everybody's laughing except Tony. He did Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Like, oh man, I'm so mean for doing this to this dude, but I can't take it. Watch again.
Dog, I hope you're doing
We got some
Let me correct you. I am his spokesperson. I'm certainly not an attorney.
Oh, well, we got some wrong information. I'm sorry. Thank you for that correction.
Dog, I hope you're doing okay today, brother. So we,
Yes, sir, brother. Yeehaw.
We think that what's important right now is we're finally starting to get an enormous amount of horsepower in this case. When Dog and Nick came in, they came in with a team of social media people, a team of investigators, a team of a legal team, and the case literally went nationwide overnight. So we're kind of getting reorganized. We're getting refocused. We're trying to get the people that want to be involved in this case refocused, where we've got one goal and one mission. And the truth is, you know, everybody involved in the search, we don't all have to like each other or get along, but as long as we've got a common goal, then I think with Dog leading the charge, we can win here.
Finding Sebastian, exactly, Tony. And we have Seth.
May I interrupt real quick?
Go ahead,
Here we
Doug.
go.
May I interrupt? So, brother, let's get down to the real nitty gritty and let's don't do the blame game. But who do you guys think was responsible for Sebastian's disappearance? Everybody was blaming it on his father in the beginning. Everybody thought he wasn't at work. He wasn't a real sheriff. And all
Real sheriff. We look at Tony. Oh, fuck. Y'all, you have to look. When you watch these things, you gotta look. Julie Grant ain't no dummy either. You're right, Kels. But he said everyone thought he was a real deputy sheriff. Dude, I'm telling you, I think, in my opinion, that Seth Rogers has misrepresented himself as a deputy sheriff. Fight me. Fight me. Why would Dog say that? Oh, everybody thought he was. Listen to that again.
that now is what he thought. Everybody was blaming it on his father in the beginning. Everybody thought he wasn't at work. He wasn't a real sheriff. Blah, and all that now has been proven. So what would you guys say with?
So we know that it hasn't been proven that he was at work. We know that. Dude, he has a team. He's not going to be out on the ground. Dude's 71 years old. He's got a team. You guys think that he's just alone? He goes out there, just him and his wife, searching? Tony's not happy. I'm sorry. Look at the facial expressions. You can't make it up. He's not a deputy sheriff. He's not a real deputy sheriff. He's a jailer. He's a jailer. But obviously, Seth is claiming that he's been a real deputy sheriff. And I've heard that he's pulled his badge when he's met people and actually made himself look that way. He was also wearing his uniform when he was not at work. He was out in public, searching, going to the command center in his deputy uniform when he's not working. So why would he be wearing that? Why would he go to the search in his deputy jailer uniform? They had at least five different entities. No, he's not a real deputy sheriff. No, he's not. No, he's not. He works for the sheriff's department, but he's not a deputy sheriff. What's a flex badge? Right. Dog is insinuating that it's been proven he was at work and is a deputy sheriff. It's the opposite. Right. Right. Exactly, North. But I think he's made it, said to people that he was. Remember when he went to lunch with barbecue and he put his badge on the table? Mm-hmm. Not being on camera. You know why? Because everybody fucking analyzes him now. No signal, my arse.
Without getting in the beginning, Sebastian's disappearance. Everybody was blaming it on his father in the beginning. Everybody thought he wasn't at work, he wasn't a real sheriff, blah, and all that now has been proven. So what would you guys say without getting, sued? My lawyer will take care of you. I don't think that's a conflict of interest, but
and we have just a couple.
Who do you think?
Constance, I'm just going to say, stop stating your shit as fact. Constance says, as if she's the ruler of this case, if Seth had not been at work, they would have already had him in handcuffs, and that's a fact. He would have been the first suspect, and this would have been wrapped up. No, that's not true. You can't arrest someone for not being at work. You have to have enough evidence to show that they did what you're accusing them of doing. So if you're accusing Seth Rogers of taking his son, you can't just say, oh, you weren't at work. Because he could say, oh, I went to the car and slept. You have to have more than that. It takes time to build cases sometimes. It's not going to be wrapped up like that necessarily.
Seconds left. Just cautioning you. Yeah, quickly, Tony.
Okay.
We're not going to make a statement on that.
Okay. And I think we have Seth's audio.
Right.
I'm being told we don't have a video signal, but Seth, if you're there, we have a couple of seconds. Where is your head this morning, Seth?
Just trying to mull over all the intelligence that has come in to try to find out if any of it's going to lead me to my son.
Right. Are you hopeful this morning, Seth?
I'm hopeful every morning.
Well, isn't it funny too that, Tony didn't say, yeah, he's been at work, like he usually does. He was at work. He was on timesheets. No, because we know that Tony was on Brittany J's panel and said that Seth fell asleep in his truck. So make it make sense. Thank you, Vet Girl, for being here. It's good to see you. Exactly. And if there's an investigation at the jail, that's not going to come out yet.
That's the way to be.
I'm hopeful every night.
Anything you want to say to everyone who's searching and wants to find Sebastian and bring him home?
I appreciate everybody that's goal-oriented in finding my son. Sebastian is the only goal. Finding him is the only thing that matters.
That's right.
To me.
We are out of time. Thank you all.
That's it. Hang on. I know I'm an over-analytic, but...
Where is your head this morning, Seth?
Oh, it was advertised. Oh, that's a good point. Hold on. What if that jail has man-down buttons with GPS? I think the website may have info. I don't know. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. If CP was never on camera, people would be saying, arrest him. You just can't. We know nothing. He fell asleep in his truck before he went to work. That shift is what Tony said. He clarified it. No, he didn't. Why are you, Constance, who are you that you want to put that out there? Just curious. Because no, he didn't. But I guess I have to pull the clip because I'm sick of this misinformation coming into chats. It's bullshit. It's unfair that Dog gets to say things as they are facts when we know they're not. What's he saying that's a fact? What's he saying that's a fact that's defaming anyone? Because that's what a lot of people on YouTube are doing. They're defaming him. They're saying his reward is a lie. They're saying that his reward is a lie. How can you do that? What is Dog saying that is defamatory or slanderous or anything like that? You know what I do see? I do see SF putting a lot of truth out there about Seth, and he's not getting a cease and desist. Have you noticed that? He's the one that's going on the ground searching for Sebastian. They haven't cease and desist him yet. Why not? You're telling me that this man, Seth Rogers, has been called a P, accused of child rape, among other things, by a private investigator on X, and he's quiet about it? What person would be quiet about those kinds of allegations if they weren't true? Tell me that. That's what I want to know. That's what I want to know. What man in their right mind would be accused of that if it wasn't true, would stay silent when they're C&D'ing YouTubers and saying, don't look for my son? You really think that that's false? Obviously, it's not. It's only slander, and it's only defamation if it's untrue. And a lot of you guys out there are saying untrue things about Dog, about Nick, about Hong. You guys are making fun of his fucking race. I mean, this is what we've become because you're mad that Dog the Bounty Hunter took some of the attention off your YouTube channel? Amanda, shut up. The FBI's been involved since a month in. The FBI and the Secret Service got involved in April. Where have you been? Where have you been? The FBI's been involved. They put out a reward. That's new, but they've always been involved. Don't you ever think, though, that Butter, that's why they were put there? Who else could distract like they did? It worked, didn't it? It worked because everybody and their fucking brother went live about them. They stopped their lives for Hong and Nick. They did. Like, put on the brakes. Oh my God. Every day. Every day. But it worked. It distracted, obviously, the ones that needed to be distracted. And then we have these crazy stories coming out now. Let me show you what's going on X. Y'all are going to shit. This is getting crazy. I'm not lying. Let's go to Nick, okay? And we're just going to scroll. We're going to go to, fuck.
Just help a brother out.
Let's watch this. Look at U.S. Marshals Service 18 hours ago. Let's watch. Actually, I'm not going to play the music. I don't know what that's all about. Creators, think twice before hosting controversial guests. If they spew problematic views, you should share their legal woes. Remember, when you give a platform, ensure it's a voice you're okay defending in court. In other words, you have to be, see, there's too many people on here. This is going to be my point. And y'all probably won't agree with me because you love the drama. You love seeing people fight. You love it. Everybody loves it. I get it. That's why reality TV is so huge. But what you don't understand is that there's a plethora of people on this platform that cover missing children. Okay? Go cover crimes. Go cover murders, whatever. But it's missing children, okay? Whether they say, oh, I'm a true crime channel or not. If you're talking about a missing kid and you have missing kids' parents on your panel, you are responsible for your panel. It's just the way of the fucking world. Right? I mean, you can't be irresponsible. It's going to come back to bite you. So, making a YouTube channel, yeah, it's real easy to go live. It's real easy. It's click a button on StreamYard. Boom, there you are. Right? Everybody can do it. That's the fucking problem. They're not trying to push everybody in true crime out of the way. They're trying to push the ones that are irresponsible, that are allowing narratives to be spread on their platforms. Wrenching Seth Rogers is dangerous. Allowing Seth Rogers and his friend Uncle Taco to pretend to masturbate on your platform is dangerous. These are irresponsible people. And just wait. They'll be called out too. I'm sure of it. But there's a lot of people that are irresponsible with their platforms. They let anything go. And you can't do that when people are defaming other people's reputation. And you know what it is? These motherfuckers have been doing it and doing it and doing it. All these little channels that pop up that want to defame everybody, bring up their fucking criminal history. Enough is enough. No one can really fight these people. And that's, I think, finally why it's being seen, why it's being paid attention to. This is a game changer. I agree. This is going to be a game changer. Candace, I don't know who you are, but if you don't like how I talk, why are you here? If you don't appreciate my opinion, if you don't like what I have to say, why are you still here? You're not going to change my mind. You're not going to change the way I roll on my own platform. So why are you here? I mean, would you like a link to talk, Candace? Here, anybody, you want to come up? Don't be scared. I mean, if you can be a keyboard warrior, you can come up here and tell me how you feel. But don't accuse me of being irresponsible and saying irresponsible things. Because when I'm wrong, I say I'm wrong. That's the difference. There's people that don't even realize what they're doing is wrong. And that's why they're getting legal action. Because they double down. They don't take a hint. They can't read a room. Fuck the trolls. Let them roll. It's engagement. Engage me, motherfucker. YouTube put out a new rule on restreaming and adding commentary isn't going to cut it with playing others' content. A lot of channels are going down soon. I don't know about that, but Toby, thank you so much for your $5 super chat. I know that my opinion is not the popular one, but I'm not going to back down from what I think and my gut feeling, because my gut feeling has been spot on this whole fucking time. And no one is going to make me not listen to my gut. Anyways, let's keep going. We're going to go, we started at the bottom, we're going to go up, okay? So Nick gives props to the YouTubers who found Couch. Listen to this one. This is something he reposted. RE, the people who were served cease and desist letters. The majority of educated people following this case don't listen to them, do not relate to them, and are smart enough to know that all they're doing is creating a distraction from the search for Sebastian. We've all seen the proof, receipts. Using multiple screen names and posting as both male, female, and anonymously in the Facebook groups they manage. Fabricating stories that they themselves respond to in order to facilitate a discussion. Threatening people who are searching for Sebastian. Enough. In my opinion, they are irrelevant. Da 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 da. I don't know if this is the one. Never mind. That's a retweet. I'm confused. Right here, tomorrow tells all. That's today. I see a GoFundMe circulating from Barbecue Lady, Stephanie Trudy. She claims she is attempting to spread awareness about Sebastian Rogers, but she was barred. That is a lie. She is placing the stepfather, Chris Proudfoot, before Sebastian. She is more than welcome to discuss Sebastian. She is trying to raise $25K in Sebastian Rogers' name. She is lying again. She could discuss Sebastian left and right, but she'd rather not. And then it says, stand with Barbecue Lady to raise funds for legal expenses. And then she's raising $25K. Oh no, be in Florida. I feel it too. This guy says these fake advocate scammers love a lawsuit scam. She received a C&D and now wants $25K for what exactly? Because she knows she's going to continue lying about this case, so knows a lawsuit is coming, or she wants a nice lump sum to fill her pockets. I think so too, Annie Jean. And you saw how welcomed they were, right? Oh, see this? American law. Thanks for the follow, Betty, on X. Nosy bitch. Oh, shit. 11 hours ago. I didn't see this. Wait, hold on. Oh, boy. This is her record in PA. She has one in Michigan, too. Oh, shit, I can't read this. Who is... Oh, my God. He posted Barbecue Lady's criminal record. Simp Daddy, what are you talking about? No, I don't remember saying that. Fuck off. Don't like what I'm saying today, though, do you? Whoever the fuck you are. I can't really read it. It says bad checks, conspire burglary, all guilty pleas, conspire burglary, theft, deal in something to promote, deal in something, I can't read it, guilty plea, act, conceal source, deal in something pros uni, act, knowingly conceal. I've never seen this shit. What? Right, but if someone's collecting a bunch of money, don't you think that that's important? You guys all cared about Nick. Nick can't cover Sebastian because he has a criminal record, but she can collect $50K? I'm confused. Why are y'all going after Nick, but you're gonna... What? I just noticed the GIF on the screen. Oh my God, Mrs. Smith. Lisa Durr, wasn't she the one who raised $22K for the blip boards? Yeah. And she went to the news and talked about it. Why would we all file a suit against Nick? What are you talking about, Melanie? I think we all need to file a suit against Nick the Hat for false allegations. What false allegations? No, I'm not checking with anyone, y'all. I am not in this. No, siree. I am not in this. Nope. Everything took a shift. No, I don't roll with this kind of shit. Everything took a shift. Just saying. I'm saying his threats of forcing Schedule 3. Oh, Jesus. Everything just changed for me. I don't want no part of this, dude. I don't want no fucking part of this. I told y'all how I felt about this in the very fucking beginning. Do you not remember? Hey, Terry Lynn hasn't been live in 3 days. All the YouTubers either not going live or they're singing a new tune today. I wonder the ones that were served or warned. I'm just saying, I don't roll with this. Like, dude, I don't roll with people that, This is fucked up. I don't like it. I don't like any of it. Then we have this. Tay L was on. Yeah, but she hasn't gone live on her channel. Terry Lynn has not been live in 4 days on her channel. We're going to go to... Hang on. SF investigates. Let's go here now. Here we go. You ready for this one? 11 hours ago. It's official. Bullhorn Betty confirmed today on YouTube what many of us have known about a child predator. This is SF's words. Although we knew this information, it's still a stunning admission from his own camp. You ready?
And was a disabled child. Ladies for Justice Plus getting married at young age was a thing back in the day. Yeah, and people don't even understand. Like, people were getting married and all this different era in our country. There was a different era in our country, accepting era in our country. But this doesn't even apply to Seth or Katie. Katie was over 18 when he met her. It doesn't matter how many times they got pregnant and she lost the kid, not unalived the kid. It was through miscarriages. And finally had Sebastian, which clearly had some, birth defects of sorts, and was a disabled child. Ladies for Justice Plus getting married at young age was a thing back in the day. Yeah, and people don't even understand. Like, people were getting married and all this different era in our country. There was a different era in our country, accepting era in our country. But this doesn't even apply to Seth or Katie. Katie was over 18 when he met her. It doesn't matter how many times they got pregnant and she lost the kid, not unalived the kid. It was through miscarriages. And finally had Sebastian, which clearly had some, birth defects of sorts, and was a disabled child.
Right. Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't back your GoFundMe. I can't. It's not cool. You got yourself into the mess. It's very sketch. It does not look good. It's not a good look. So I'm not going to promote your GoFundMe. I'm sorry. I'm not. There's been too much fuckery that's gone on in this case, and enough is enough. I'm done with it. I'm ready for Sebastian to be found, and the people that are fucking with this case to be behind fucking bars. But yeah, she's excusing, people getting married at a young age back then was the thing. No, she's not showing receipts. You need to see money in, money out. We have 3 different people on TikTok collecting money for those billboards. That's 3 different people. Rico, that's a lot of fucking money. It's a lot of fucking money. And you have to be careful. And you haven't been. You haven't been careful. We talked about this from the beginning. Hey, Belle, don't tell me what to do. I'll sit here all fucking day and talk about this. Don't tell me to move on. Who the hell do you think you are? Who the hell do you think you are? Show the money in and out. That's what people want to see. The Venmo, the Cash App, the PayPal. All 3. How much went in? How much went out? It's that simple. It's accounting 101. Maybe Katie has been told by LE to be quiet, Denise. I want to know I want all these games to stop. All the money making in Sebastian Rogers' name to stop. All the bashing of the people that are actually trying to get somewhere to stop. And I am all for what they're doing. I am all for Dog, Nick, and SF Investigates. Damn Skippy. You can't show a list of blip boards. That doesn't show money in and out. Sorry. It doesn't. If I collected 22K, no one on this platform would accept that I just showed my fucking screenshot of where the billboards are. Fuck that. Doesn't work that way. Tens of thousands of dollars, folks. I don't want to be involved in that. And you have creators that have posted this, co-signed this. I mean, this isn't a joke, barbecue lady. I don't know why you keep doubling down. It's not a fucking joke. "911 crime time. In my opinion, there's a conspiracy between a group of 7 to 8 people collecting money and scamming and money laundering." Bing bong. Rico. Rico. You know what else is crazy? If you think about it. Remember when all that money was collected? She wanted to give it to Clue. And Clue was like, nope. You set up your own damn thing. And then we've got the other Venmo for the Mutt Motel. The Mutt Motel, remember that? There's a Venmo for the Mutt Motel who was charging $750 for a dog. Clue showed her money going in and out. I don't know if she did or not. I'm not talking about Clue. Clue's not in here. Clue didn't come in saying that didn't come in here saying her GoFundMe for legal fees is legit. Let's not talk about Clue. Clue's not here to defend herself. I'm not co-signing any of that. No way. It doesn't matter if you can see the blip boards or not. It's a fuck of a lot of money. And you tell me, okay, I'm just going to put it out there common sense wise because you have to use your fucking common sense. How do you collect $22,000 on TikTok in a day? Even in 2 days. Okay, we saw Clue and we saw Truth do a fundraiser on YouTube. And what did they bring in, like 1,500 or something? I mean, you have to use your common sense. Then you have 3 people divvying it out, right? You've got 3 different ways that the money's coming in. 3 different names. Right. I mean, if that's the kind of money you can make on TikTok, why are we even on YouTube? It doesn't make sense. People matched donations. Okay. Where's the money coming from? Where's the money coming from? Who has money like that? And then now they're infiltrating the tubes. I'm not entertaining any of it. I don't want to hear from TikTok Tony's quote unquote ex-girls. I don't trust any of it. Any of it. I mean, if it was like $2,000, fine. Your bank stopped the last donation? Yikes, play nice. Are you serious? Where did you donate to? No, I'm talking about the TikTokers that came to YouTube. I don't watch TikTok. The only time I watched TikTok was when TikTok Tony was on there. It's the only reason I watched it. But these TikTokers came over to YouTube. They were getting on Queen Bee's platform. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm this, I'm that. I know, but where did you donate to? Like a Venmo? Was it a Cash App? I mean, if y'all don't think this is looked into, you're crazy. Here's another one. While others conduct YouTube live streams from parking lots, listen closely. While others conduct YouTube live streams from parking lots, hold panel discussions about baseless and unenforceable cease and desist letters, or only show up for national media to promote a book. Some dog. I'm heading back to Tennessee on Monday to search for Sebastian. No gimmicks. Action versus acting. I am also making a commitment not to drug anyone for the sake of interrogation. Sebastian Rogers is not a for-profit entity. He is a missing 15-year-old boy who needs to be found. What are you talking about, mom of two? I don't watch TikTok. She invited me on her panel that night. That's what brought me there, a link. He's going one way to Nashville, y'all. Yeah, it's just not right. I can't get down with it. I just can't. And then setting up a GoFundMe because your mouth got you in trouble. I can't. Like, if you're not prepared to run your mouth with the money behind it to defend yourself, don't run your mouth. It's pretty simple. And furthermore, if you didn't do anything wrong, barbecue, I mean, why did you go live behind a paywall after you got the cease and desist? If you're not scared, if you didn't do anything wrong, why wasn't your TikTok public like it always is? It's weird. It's not adding up. It doesn't matter if it gets reported or not. You're missing the point, okay? You're missing the point. People, you really don't need to worry if you think the IRS isn't all over it. You are sadly mistaken. Every penny you make gets reported, period. Right, but that's not the point. People have already been out of their money, right? Like, isn't it tough enough to get by these days? I mean, are you guys living paycheck to paycheck? Because I am. I ain't fucking loaded. So I'm more worried about people that are on disability, people who feel sorry for Sebastian and think that this is going to help him. Right? Everybody's money. And once you get to the IRS, it's already spent. This is about getting ahead of it, right? Because we have $22K that was raised. Now we have a GoFundMe for $25K. If y'all are supporting that, that's fine. I can't get next to that. Because I know how serious this is. She did tell me she raised $1,000, Kylie. Barbecue raised $1,000 the day before the GoFundMe and claimed it was for her lawyer, then said the $25K is to get a lawyer. Yeah, I mean, these people have gotten themselves in their own bed. I don't get it. Only 5% of the world do not watch their finances month to month. Yeah. I mean, throwing out a GoFundMe for $25K like, oh, hey, holla, it's legit. Get me out of my mess because I can't keep my mouth shut. I mean, you play, you pay. And then you double down. They tell you to shut the fuck up. And you say, I'm not shutting the fuck up. I mean, don't grift for money if you're not going to shut your fucking mouth. If you don't have the money to run your mouth, don't do it. What's up, Steven? It's crazy to me.
Just help a brother out here.
Thank you, Toby. They are likely violating TN 37-10-209. What's that? Let me look it up. Oh, what's this? Oh, Have you heard Bullhorn Betty this morning ask for a donation of $100 so she can pay someone to interview them and to lie and make a false allegation that you're a P? That can't be legal, can it? What?
Creek Town, dude.
Oh, look at sleuths. Sebastian's army. I have not been sent or served with a cease and desist or a federal state injunction as threatened. If I am served with either, I assure you that you will know 30 seconds later. I will scan and post everything for full transparency. I will also record any phone calls and share those should they happen. So he's straight up said, Seth is basically a P.
Just help a brother
He's
out.
thinking that Seth could have emmed his son, and he has not gotten a thing. What do you think of that?
For Justice Plus getting married at young age was a thing back in the day. Yeah, and people don't even understand. Like, people were getting married and all this different era in our country. There was a different era in our country, accepting era in our country, but this doesn't even apply to Seth or Katie. Katie was over 18 when he met her. It doesn't matter how many times they got pregnant and she lost the kid, not unalived the kid. It was through miscarriages. And finally had Sebastian, which clearly had some, birth defects of sorts, and was a disabled child.
Unbelievable. I'm just saying, be careful. Be careful. I don't know who got them. Okay? I don't know. I just know that she did get one. I don't know who else even got one. Yeah, dude, you guys, Bullhorn Betty was the one that went live and said, oh, what's his name? Stephen Stearns was so good looking. Okay, here we go. This is that law. Thank you for bringing that up. I can't remember who brought up the law. Toby, smart cookie. Let me move this so you guys can read it better. Okay. So this says Tennessee Code. This was 2023 Tennessee Code. Title 37, Juveniles. Chapter 10, Miscellaneous Provisions. Part 2, Tennessee Missing Children Recovery Act. Then we have this section, Distribution of Materials concerning missing children and solicitation of contributions. Bing bong. Okay, let me read this. Hang on, let me get a drink. No organization shall solicit contributions for the purpose of distributing materials containing information to missing children unless it complies with the following requirements. 1, such organization has been incorporated under Title 48, Chapters 51 through 68, or the nonprofit corporation law of another state prior to the time of the solicitation of contributions, or such organization is an unincorporated charitable association, trust, society, or other group. 2, it has been exempt from federal income taxation. Now we know that the Mutt Motel, their 501c, expired before they were collecting money in Sebastian's name for the Mutt Motel. Just saying. B, no organization that solicits contributions for the purpose of distributing materials containing information relating to missing children shall expressly state or imply in any way that it is affiliated with or is soliciting contributions on behalf of an organization established to assist in the location of missing children without the express written consent of that organization. Whoever violates subsection A or B is guilty of improper solicitation of contributions for missing children, which shall be punishable as a Class A misdemeanor. D, missing children or missing child means a minor child who has run away from or who is otherwise missing from the home of or the care of, custody and control of such child's parents, custodial parent, guardian, legal guardian, or other person having responsibility for the minor. E, nothing in this section shall be construed as attempting any person or organization from the requirements of the Solicitation of Charitable Funds Act, compiled in Title 48, Chapter 101, Part 5. Thank you for sending that to me. Thank you, B in Florida. Appreciate that. Sometimes you just got to learn to roll with your gut, right? I hope no one donated with the expectation of a tax write-off. Exactly. So, sticky, sticky, messy, messy. This is why money in, money out. I mean, I don't know. A TikTok video showing the blip boards isn't going to get you out of this. Don't forget. Yeah, I don't know anything about Tammy. I don't know her involvement. I don't know who's the three people that raised the 22K, but I don't know. I can't. That's all I can say. I can't. Can't do it. Can't do it. Won't do it. It's just some ain't right. Hold up. Wait a minute. Some ain't right. And I'm sure that there's people that are concerned that have, gone to authorities about things. I'm not saying about Barbecue Lady, but don't you think that there's people that were involved with Tony that now are like, yeah, I don't know anything about Clue. I'm not talking about Clue. Clue's not here. She's not here to, defend herself. But Barbecue came in here saying her GoFundMe was legit, et cetera, et cetera. That's why we're talking about that. Nursikins, how will this affect how you cover the case? Well, I guess I've already, admitted that I was wrong in the beginning and I learned from it. And that's the thing. That's the problem with YouTubers that are on here that don't get it, that it's okay to be wrong, right? It's okay to be wrong. It's admitting you fucked up. It's admitting you said, oh, I zeroed in on Chris and Katie in the beginning, and I was wrong for that. But there's a lot of people that won't say that. You learn. You learn from your mistakes. You don't just keep doubling down and making the same mistakes. That's the problem. You can't just allow anybody up on your panel and fucking let them defame people. You just can't. And I think that, and I do too, Lee Bird. I'm not saying anything bad about her, but I don't want to make Clue the focus of this because she's not here. That's all. Barbecue Lady was here, so we addressed it. I think anyone that was affiliated with Tony, it all turns to shit. I think he needs to go. I think he is as crooked as a dog back leg. Wayne, I agree. It's called embezzlement and it's prison time. Y'all gonna look good rocking that orange jumpsuit. Yay. I mean, there's got to be accountability. It's just, I think this is going to come to a head. And I, you know, how I picture it. Yeah, she also was boots on the ground, Shelby. Absolutely. The way I look at it is like this. It's like an onion. Sebastian is in the middle of that onion because there's so many layers that certain players have put around Sebastian, right? So we have to peel back the layers. Exactly. Barbecue got Clue involved in her mess. She needs to leave Clue out of her mess. She tried to hand her over all that money. Layers and layers and layers to get to Sebastian. That's how I view this. There's so many lies, so many distractions, so many, just sideshows that they have to peel back. And that takes time because look at how many people have involved themselves. Oh, she was so smart. She ain't dumb. Clue is not dumb. And I don't think Clue is reckless. I don't think Clue does things before thinking about them. But I think there are very, very impulsive people that have been following this case. And I think they got a little greedy, in my opinion. Like, oh, hey, we can raise this $22K for billboards. What else can we do? Type thing. And then there's also this. Thank you, Robin, for sending me this. I'm going to pull this up. It's really scary, guys. This is real. I mean, like, if Clue was being set up for something, that's fucked up. And we don't want this shit on YouTube, do we? I don't. Thank you for sending this, Robin. I know it was for me, but we have a lot of things being said about recording calls and things like that, which is illegal as well. So if you look at the state map, this is for all party, two-party consent states list in detail, okay? So all party is the dark blue. So like where I live in Florida, I have to get permission to record. Like if I call you, I have to say, hey, you're being recorded. Is that okay? And they have to consent to it. If you look here, I know that in Barbecue Lady, I mean, this isn't me just wanting to come at you. It's just, it is what it is. She has recorded calls and we have PA is a one-party state. Or a two-party state, rather. Sorry, I said that wrong. Yeah, but Lee Michelle, Chris also said that happened. Chris said that happened. He said that they were in the kitchen, that Seth was standing right there in front of Sebastian when Sebastian said, I don't want to live with you. So I don't know why that's a big ass lie, but Chris said he was there too on Thursday. Scenario, if you live in PA, but are in Tennessee talking with someone, then what? Well, it depends who's recording. So if you're in Tennessee and you call someone in PA, you don't have to tell them. It doesn't matter. It's where the call is originating from. No, I haven't, Kylie. I can't see everything. I mean, I think she is smart. I have seen her catch things that no one else catches. So I don't know why. I mean, you're not going to convince me to hate Clue. You're just not going to do it. That's not how I roll. I'm not going to do that. What if a two-party state calls a one-party state and records? Well, it's against the law. It's against the law, so. So you could face criminal charges such as a misdemeanor or a felony, depending on the state and the circumstances. You could face up to 5 years in prison under federal criminal law. You could face a fine up to $500 under federal criminal law. You could be sued for damages, including punitive damages and attorney's fees. And in Florida, if you fuck around in Florida, you fuck around and find out, you could face a felony conviction if you lose a secret recording case. So, yeah. Yikes. If you desire to record telephone calls or in-person conversations, including by means of audio and video, you should be aware that you may face criminal liability under federal and state wiretapping laws. I mean, when you say federal, when you bring the feds into this, and you're in federal court, good luck. It's fucking expensive. Upwards from $500 an hour. Okay. Fuck with the feds. I mean, double down by all means. These laws not only expose you to the risk of criminal prosecution, but may also expose you to civil liability for damages to an injured party. So it's the Federal Wiretap Act, if you want to look into it. I know that people were talking about, like, oh, wiretapping, da-da-da. Yeah, it is wiretapping, okay? It's under the Wiretapping Act. While in the comfort of your own home or property, you can reasonably expect full privacy and thus are free from non-consensual recordings of your conversations. A person who violates the Federal Wiretap Act faces a possible sentence. Here, I'll show you. I'm just going to share the damn screen. I mean, social media is becoming the way of the world, guys. We have to be, this is always changing, right? A person who violates the Federal Wiretap Act faces a possible sentence of up to 5 years in prison, a fine of $500, or both. A person, fuck. Pennsylvania has a different, a person who violates the Pennsylvania Wiretapping Act faces a possible sentence of 3.5 years to 7 years in prison and a fine of up to $15,000. Oh boy, that ain't good. That ain't good. Look. Pennsylvania has special rules on it. So there's federal, see? Federal. And then there's state. I mean, you want to fuck around and find out with that? I don't. I can tell you that much. I can guarantee you I would not fuck with that. And I damn sure would not start a fucking GoFundMe after doing all this. You just, I mean, talk about just keeping it going, right? Fuck. These people seem to like to be in trouble or some shit. How could she get a court-appointed lawyer? She's not charged with a crime. You want to run your mouth? You gotta have the money to get behind it, I guess. I don't know what to tell you. She's not going to get a court-appointed lawyer for running her mouth unless she's charged criminally and she's arrested. A press conference on what? The White House had a press conference on what? Here, I'm going to play this again. I got to go take my dogs out. I'll be right back. I want you guys to watch this again and listen with fresh eyes, fresh ears and eyes. Please bear with me here. I'm not trying to steer you guys in the wrong way. I'm not trying to put a fucking damper on the party here.
Welcome back to Opening Statements. I'm Julie Grant. This morning, we are shining the spotlight on the search for missing teen Sebastian Rogers. In just a moment, we're going to be talking to Dog the Bounty Hunter, who is helping in Sebastian's search. He's helping Sebastian's father, Seth Rogers, look for his missing son. And a little later in the show, I'm going to be speaking with Seth Rogers, who has not given up on finding his son.
He needs to call 911. And if somebody has him, you need to give him back. He's my son, and he doesn't belong to nobody, but damn it, he's mine.
Now, the teen with autism has been missing since February from the Hendersonville, Tennessee home that he shared with his mother and with his stepfather. I want to welcome in now our very special guest, Dwayne Chapman, a.k.a. Dog the Bounty Hunter, and he's also accompanied by his attorney, Bruce Castor. Good morning to you both. Dog, I want to begin with you, please. When you think about, all of the things that could have happened with Sebastian, I want to ask you, based on all of the facts and information that you know, what is your theory, the theory of the case that you have, and what is helping you and aiding in your pursuit of him?
Well, two questions. The theory is, my theory, the only theory that I have is he's missing. Whether he's still alive or not, that's not, I thought in the beginning that he might be alive, and the more tips we have, the more people, the more things we're figuring out, he might not be alive. So, it's not my theory of how I find people. Sometimes it's completely different than what I think. And the way we find him and help is someone, we know there's two people that were involved in his disappearance, but someone else has to know. And a $100,000 reward that's been put up is, $1/10,000,000. That's a lot of money. So we're waiting on we have 833 Tell Dog. My partner, Nick the Hat, has got his number out there. We're waiting for someone to call in on the tip line and give us a real live tip.
Doug, would you give us an update, please, on any good information that's come in so far? Has anything you've received in the way of tips been at all viable?
Well, my lawyer's giving me stink eye. I better watch my mouth because, allegedly, that's the word. Allegedly.
Sure.
Allegedly, it was people need to read the facts. How'd the boy get out the back? How come no one did anything? Why was the stepfather threatening people that were out looking for the boy? Volunteers were out there and he was threatening them. Is there a family tie between either side of the family, between sexual perversion really bad? I mean, there's a lot of things that the public can look at before, it goes to a jury. And all roads lead to Rome.
Doug, tell us about the roads that you've been walking along in your search. Would you kind of bring us into your world? What have you been doing on the ground there? Tell us a little bit about how your searching process goes, if you would, please.
Well, we don't have a crystal ball. I'm follow the words of Jesus. So, I can't look and say, Jesus, where is he? So the only roads to Rome are people that call in and leave tips. Someone else knows what happened. Absolutely. You know, in a 10-year career, I've captured, or a 48-year career, I've captured more than 10,000 fugitives. And this is not my first rodeo looking for a lost child. We've been 100% successful in that. And the reason why is people need to call in and to tell us what's going on. We've got leads. A lot of leads are credible, and some leads are, you know, dog, when are you going to get a show? We love you, dog. We love Francie. We love that. You know, we love you too, but stay off the line. We need credible leads.
Absolutely. Well, you are beloved, dog. I know you don't need me to tell you that. And
Thank you.
Believe me, everybody has the world of confidence in you. When we found out that you were joining the search, I was asking my power panel on the show, who are you going to bet on finding Sebastian, dog or the FBI? And everybody's saying you. Everybody wants to take that bet with you. And so tell us, does that put any pressure on you? Tell me, does it fuel your fire? What do you think when you hear so much confidence from the public in you and in the work that you do?
Well, that incites me. I get all excited because I am the greatest bounty hunter in the world. No one can ever catch over 10,000 fugitives. No one. FBI works Monday through Friday. The marshals are the only ones come close, and they got to have 12. I'm sorry, marshals, but they're the more it just gets us excited, gets us crazy. And I have a team. You know, my Francie helps me. Many people help me. Nick the Hat, my team, and then I have one of the greatest lawyers in the world for this particular subject. I mean, this guy is like, it's just incredible. So anywhere you go, you must have a good lawyer in this business. So please, let's pass this on to him.
Isn't that the truth? Well, and Bruce, I'm not just saying this. I said to Dog when we were doing his mic check right before the show, what a fine lawyer he has in you. So I know legally he's in great hands. Bruce, anything that you would like to add? I know you're here primarily to accompany Dog with this appearance. Is there anything that you think that's important to note with respect to the search and Dog's involvement in leading the charge to help Seth Rogers find Sebastian?
Well, as a more than 3-decade law enforcement official myself in Pennsylvania, the former district attorney and former attorney general, I know what the local authorities must be feeling and the frustration they must be feeling. And I know from my own experience that sometimes you need to rely on people like Dog, experts that are willing to give their time and energy to come and assist law enforcement in doing their job. And, you know, I'm stunned when I learned about the facts of this case that, the young boy has left the home of his mother and his stepfather, and they don't seem to be particularly broken up about that. I'm sure that is sticking in the minds of a lot of people who want to know what the answer to that is. I also was struck by the fact that the people doing the search, Dog, Nick the Hat, and some of the other people are facing death threats and other problems against their safety. And these are things that just can't happen. I mean, we need to encourage people when they put up money for reward to try to get people to call in. That's not any kind of impropriety. That's good citizenship. That's what we want to encourage. And people who do things to deter that are, in my judgment, not being good Americans. And we have very fine people, Dog and Nick and the whole crew are doing a tremendous job. And from where I sit, if it gets any worse, I'm going to recommend that they take legal action, because this is totally unreasonable. And law enforcement and the community working together will solve this crime.
Right. Oh, amen. Bruce, I am with you 100%. When you said death threats, my jaw.
This is so weird. My jaw.
Pennsylvania, as a prosecutor, and anybody making those kind of threats should be held accountable legally. You are right. And the threats don't solve the problem, do they? All they do is take everybody a step back, the good people who are searching for this young boy. With respect to Sebastian, Doug, I want to ask you, realistically, how confident are you in being able to bring Sebastian home?
Well, again, in the very beginning, I thought he might still be with us. It seems like, Sebastian has to have medication for sleep and other things, okay? And we have checked everywhere if those prescriptions have been renewed. And so far, they have not. So, again, everything is up in the air. You hope, I lost a little girl, Barbara Katie, and I, hope that she wasn't gone, and she was. So I don't, it is, who knows? We all pray to God that he's, somewhere safe and we'll find him. But when someone gets on whatever it is, TV, internet, and everything, and says, I guarantee you, dog will never, never find Sebastian. So many series on A&E, CMT, WGN, my show. We never missed one guy. A couple have gotten away because they died. So never have we ever missed. And for someone to come on and say, dog will never, ever find him. Yeah, why? You're guilty. Why? Because you did something to him. Why? You again, allegedly is soon to become, with the jury of their peers, a conviction. And so I'm maybe more after that than I am anything else. We've got to find out who was involved in Sebastian's disappearance.
Preach, Doug, preach. And we are so sorry for the loss of your beautiful daughter, Barbara Katie. That is a pain that I think is unimaginable unless you've gone through it. And you certainly understand that enormous pain that comes with burying a child. And so our hearts go out to you for that and continuing with your resilience in life and in your profession. And speaking of parenting, we're going to be welcoming in Sebastian's father, Seth Rogers, in just a couple of moments. Dog is going to stay with us. Seth is going to be joining us. We're going to hit that break and be right.
Okay, so I see a lot of you naysayers again. Can we go here? You tell me who you have seen do this, okay? Just saying. Let's take a look at Dog and baby Lisa, his daughter. Everybody take it in. Take it in. You guys are going to dog someone, no pun intended, for creating a foundation to help trafficked victims. Do you hear what you guys are doing? You guys want this to end, right? You guys want trafficking under control. You want to help the victims. You're all for the victims, right? Dog and baby Lisa have put this together. We provide compassion and healthy structure that encourages victims to become thriving survivors. Yeah, that's Francie, but I'm saying his daughter's involved in this too. The House of Bounty provides mental health support through a variety of group therapy sessions and group sessions. We also provide individual weekly therapy and soul healing sessions. To measure the impact after services are received and time has passed, residents are given assessments at intake, then every 6 months. What do you stand by? You stand by what? People running their mouth and getting fucking cease and desists? Or do you stand by people that are actually trying to do something? Are you fucking kidding me? Who cares, Salty? We don't know what happened. It could have been all three of the parents. It could have been none of them. It's not our business to say that he's wrong and what he's doing is wrong. It's that simple. This is a new foundation. You guys want to put him down, right? I mean,
Just
I
help
would
a
say
brother
this
out
is someone who's on the right side of things, right? I don't know. That's just me. How do you know that Sebastian wasn't trafficked? You don't know anything about it. And if he's doing something so wrong, why isn't law enforcement stepping in? Answer me that. It could have been all three of those parents. It could have been none of the parents. It still doesn't change the fact that there's people running their mouths, getting cease and desist, doubling down, and then making GoFundMes to pay for it. Loaded Hot, why do you think that CP isn't aware of what's going on? Why are you making KP and CP seem like they're in the dark? You guys sit there, oh, we're worried about them. They're going to get attacked. No, they're not. They talk to law enforcement every day. Every day. And y'all think they're sitting in the sitting in the corner, rocking back and forth, unaware of what's going on. Come on. They know damn well what's going on. This is Katie's son. This is Katie's son. She knows what's going on. Give me a break. They've been cooperating since day one, from what we've heard. No, I'm not muted. I'm not muted. Yeah, that's Fran or whatever, Francie, whatever her name is. GB, how do you think this will end? I have no idea. Dude, I have no idea. I don't have a fucking crystal ball. But if you listen to this interview, he's telling you everything you need to know. Who's been going and getting, okay, let me ask you this question. Who's been getting tips from the crystal ball people? I'll wait. Who's the one on crystal ball channels that are talking to Sebastian? Who's family? Whose family? They're all getting fucking tips from crystal balls. I think you got a Ouija board down your pants and you're going to pull that out. Wake up, people. Wake up. Yes. Sean. Sonny, that's fine. If I'm wrong, I'll say I'm wrong. But everything that's been said points right back at Sean. They're not going to come out and say, oh, yeah, Seth's team's been, his mom's in a fucking psychic chat every day talking to Sebastian. They're not going to say that. But if you know what you're doing, if you're the one getting tips from psychics and you hear Dog the Bounty Hunter say, yeah, we don't, whatever he said about the psychics. Listen.
Back is going to be in your store and
I don't. It is, who knows? We all pray to God that he's, somewhere safe and we'll find him. But when someone gets on whatever it is, TV, internet and everything, and says, I guarantee you, Dog will never find Sebastian. So many series on A&E, CMT, WGN, my show. We never missed one guy. A couple have gotten away because they died. So never have we ever missed. And for someone to come on and say, Dog will never, ever find him. Yeah, why? You're guilty. Why? Because you did something to him. Why? You, again, allegedly is soon to become, with the jury of their peers, a conviction. And so I'm maybe more after that than I am anything else. We've got to find out who was involved in Sebastian's disappearance.
Preach, Doug, preach. And we are so sorry for the loss of your beautiful daughter, Barbara Katie. That is a pain that...
I don't know who said that on TV. I don't think Chris Proudfoot has been on TV since Dog the Bounty Hunter has come on the scene. I don't remember Chris saying that Dog the Bounty Hunter will never find him. Where did he say that? Oh, it is real life, alpha male. Every person on here is real. I guarantee you, this is real life. Hate to break it to you, but you know there's 500,000 predators online every day. Did you guys know that? How could he say it a couple months ago? Dog wasn't even involved a couple months ago. He didn't say that about Dog. What are you guys talking about? Dog just came on the scene not too long ago. No, everything is real life. Words are real life. Things that are said on YouTube are real life. It's real life. I hate to break it to you. You don't get a free pass to say whatever the fuck you want just because you're on YouTube. $500,000. Do you want to see some shit? Let me show you some really scary statistics. Everybody should actually know this. Hold on. We're going to watch a little short. Never thought I'd be showing this guy's fucking face, but here I am. Cy Ray. Cy Ray came out with an amazing video yesterday or the day before. Check this short out, though.
Every day in America, there's 500,000, that's 500,000 online predators on the internet targeting children. 500,000 a day.
And these could be people sitting at their desk job. They're on gaming consoles. They're in simple apps that your children use for school.
I know child sex crimes is a very touchy topic that's hard to listen to. The natural tendency is to turn away. I want to invite you to listen to this entire episode.
Because law enforcement's fucking overpowered. How can law enforcement reel in 500,000 people online? Why do they still have Seth's fucking stuff? Why do they why are his electronics such a fucking issue? Oh, this is I see, I disagree, Alpha. This is 150% real life. Because these motherfuckers are on YouTube, they're on every platform.
Spite of that. It's going to be hard to digest, but it's really important that we understand child sex trafficking is a crime that's on the rise, both in the United States and throughout the world. So embrace this episode, listen to it, absorb it, learn from it, and join us in the fight. And maybe you too can help save a child.
So what do you think of that? What do you think? Seth, oh, he doesn't have internet at my house. Evidence of what, Grace? This isn't the elite trafficking your children, people. This isn't the elite trafficking your children. It's not the politicians hiding them underground. It's the people in plain motherfucking sight.
Every day in America, there's 500,000, that's 500,000 online predators on the internet targeting children. 500,000 a day.
And these could be people sitting at their desk job. They're on gaming consoles. They're in simple apps that your children use for school.
I know child sex crimes is a very touchy topic that's hard to listen to. The natural tendency is to turn away. I want to invite you to listen to this entire episode in spite of that. It's going to be hard to digest, but it's really important that we understand child sex trafficking is a crime that's on the rise, both in the United States and throughout the world. So embrace this episode, listen to it, absorb it, learn from it, and join us in the fight. And maybe you too can help save a child.
I'll find you.
Every day
hold on.
in America.
So the episode is here. It's an hour and 14 minutes long.
The Spider and the Fly, based on the cautionary tale by Mary Howitt.
So I think you guys want to watch this and walk through it.
Will you walk into my parlor? Said the spider to the fly. 'Tis the prettiest little parlor that you ever did spy. The way into my parlor is up a winding stair,
and I have many curious things to show you when you are there. I'm sure you must be weary, dear, with soaring up so high. Will you rest upon my little bed? Said the spider to the fly. Oh, no, no, said the little fly, for I've often heard it said.
Really? That's your response? Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. See, you're the problem. I don't know who you are, alpha male, but for someone like you to sit in here, if you're a male, why are you saying I'm a whole ass adult with adult kids? I'm pretty okay without the lessons. So you have a problem with awareness of child trafficking? Is that what you're telling me? You're telling me that you have a problem with me raising awareness of trafficking? Well, then leave. As a matter of fact, I'll do it for you. Sick. That's weird. I'm sorry. That's fucking weird. I should play this. I mean, this could be playing 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and you should not have a problem with it. Fucking weirdo. Blit. Red flags.
They never, never wake again, who sleep upon your bed. The spider turned him round about and went into his den, for well he knew the silly fly would soon.
Does it hit too close to home or something? What the fuck? I've never heard someone say that kind of shit. Yikes.
Come back again. So he wove a subtle web in a little corner sly and set his table ready to dine upon the fly. Then he came out to his door again and merrily did sing.
Come hither, hither, pretty fly, with the pearl and silver wing. Your robes are green and purple, there's a crest upon your head. Your eyes are like the diamond bright, but mine are dull as lead.
Alas, alas, how very soon the silly little fly, hearing his wily, flattering words, came slowly flitting by. With buzzing wings she hung aloft, then nearer and nearer drew. Up jumped the cunning spider, and fiercely held her fast. He dragged her up his winding stair, into his dismal den, within his little parlor, but she never came out again. And now, dear little children, who may this story read, to idle, silly, flattering words, I pray you never give heed. Unto an evil counselor, close heart and ear and eye, and take a lesson from this tale of the spider and the fly.
I know child sex crimes is a very touchy topic that's hard to listen to. The natural tendency is to turn away. I want to invite you to listen to this entire episode in spite of that. It's going to be hard to digest, but it's really important that we understand child sex trafficking is a crime that's on the rise, both in the United States and throughout the world. We need to educate ourselves and spread that education in order to
This video is being shown for awareness and educational purposes. And I think that they did an amazing, amazing job. This guy right here, if you guys don't know, he testified for Brian Koberger. He testified for Brian Koberger about the cell data. So this guy knows what he's talking about, y'all. He's investigated shit like this.
fight this terrible, heinous crime that targets the most innocent and susceptible victims we have, our children. So embrace this episode, listen to it, absorb it, learn from it, and join us in the fight. And maybe you too can help save a child.
Welcome to Socialite Crime Club.
Here's their link, guys.
What web of deception are we exposing today?
Oh, it is a tangled web for sure. There is nothing more susceptible to deception than a young, innocent child who is in awe of the attention and admiration of a new friend, blind to the fact that it is truly a wolf in sheep's clothing.
Sounds like a real-life spider in the fly. It was challenging choosing the theme of this week's episode. I could choose between predator's prey or shadow crimes. Because the predator's prey is a bit more prominent, where cases focus on predatory behavior, often involving stalking, calculated attacks, and exploitation with very serial predatory crimes, I chose predator's prey. However, this also fell under a shadow crimes, and these are crimes committed in secret, often involving secret identities, especially on the dark web. So these are things that I want you to think about as you listen to this case today.
Carrie and I are very passionate about this subject. We've worked numerous cases, unfortunately, so many that I think we've lost count at this point. We've been consulted with, we've helped with different task force, we've been involved in these cases both as law enforcement officers and then also in our private lives later on as just normal citizens helping. We've been part of multiple task force that went into.
Did you hear this? Thank you so much, Cramit. If y'all do not like Jay's channel and what she has to say, why keep coming in here and complaining? Ridiculous. I agree. This is a real story. Okay, these two, I guess she's an ex-police officer too. I didn't know that. But they have investigated these crimes. So pay attention if you want to know. Yes, this is BK's expert witness. This isn't just fucking anybody. Y'all just want to listen to anybody and hear what they spout. Listen to people that know what the fuck they're talking about.
A child is missing or is abducted, we do our best to find that child and recover that child before anything too terrible happens. And we're going to pull from a lot of that experience for this episode. So this isn't just another advertisement for how can you help missing and exploited children. We're going to peel back some of the layers and get really involved with actual cases and really expose what is happening in America today when we talk about child sex trafficking.
I think more importantly, how you can prevent your own child or children that you know from being victims of child sex trafficking. Not only child sex trafficking, but from just being a victim of online predatory behavior. You never know when it's happening, and you never know if you're actually preventing it.
We're also going to get a little bit into the technology that Carrie and I have actually helped develop to combat this. And hopefully you'll join us throughout this entire episode, learn from it, and then help spread that word and educate, because that is the key to solving this problem.
Awareness. Always be aware, be vigilant of what your own children are doing online.
All right, let's jump into this. 2021, Toulouse, Louisiana. This is northeastern Louisiana. It's up close to the Mississippi River. I've got a little map here I'll throw up there. And the house we're going to start with is very rural. And it's going to be important to get into the rural nature of this, because I think a lot of people think sex trafficking, right? And it's big. That's a big city problem.
Yeah.
It's not. In fact, if you look at the numbers, you look at statistics, small towns, rural communities, it's almost worse per capita. Easier to target, more isolated of the child spectrum there, if you will. So take out populations when you're looking at this, whether it's big city, small town, it doesn't matter. In this case, it's going to be a very rural town. January 3rd of 2021, Madison Parish Sheriff's Office is going to issue a level 2 endangered missing child advisory. And what a level 2 is the child is missing and there's reason to believe the child's life is threatened. This child is physically in danger. It's not just, hey, little Becky ran away. There's other circumstances that are making law enforcement believe, no, there's something bad going on here.
Right.
11-year-old. It's going to be an 11-year-old female who's missing from her residence. Some of the scary pieces here, this is a consensual abduction. What I mean by that is the 11-year-old willingly snuck out of their house, walked the quarter mile down the driveway to the main road, got picked up by an unknown male in an unknown vehicle, turned off her phone intentionally, knowing parents and law enforcement would track it. Leading up to this, concealed a lot of her communications with this person using a VPN that the parents knew nothing about and different chat services that nobody was tracking.
Okay. Do you remember hearing in this case about VPNs? About someone sending emails under a VPN? You remember?
So this entire thing, she is in that grooming process and is hit to the point she will actually conceal her actions for her suspect, for her predator.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, scary stuff.
That is crazy. I'm curious about the VPN.
Yeah, it was actually in some of the early text messages before they jumped over to another platform that they were using. And there's conversations, hey, what was that free VPN? And when an 11-year-old is asking a sexual predator how to access a VPN, that should make the hair on the back of your neck go up right there.
So the predator must have told her what a VPN is, because how does an 11-year-old know what a VPN is?
And then actually gave her the link to this free VPN that she could install on her phone to help conceal their communications.
Oh my God.
Which she did, 100% willingly.
Yeah.
It's like she is a willing victim at this point. I've got to hold back a little bit this week on some of the investigative processes. And usually we're very transparent with how we do things. I've worked on many task forces, and I don't want to reveal some of our investigative processes because we're educating the predators how to get away with this. So I'm going to leave a handful of the things out. So you guys are just going to have to give me a little grace this week. I'm not going to fully explain how we get from point A to point B. Some of those things need to stay.
See, they got to keep their tactics on the down low, because if they talk about their tactics, these predators are a step ahead. Tony hid his email from me. I can tell you that. That's right, Robin. He did. It said null when he emailed me.
Stay as an investigative tactic.
I think socialites will be very forgiving of you for that.
That's appreciated. Not the TikTokers, though.
Oh, TikTokers hate you.
Booty liquor. Okay, going after everything we can.
He called the TikTokers booty liquor. What? He said, what? Wait a second. Are they aware of this case? Hold on a second. Hold up. Wait a minute. Something, right. Of course, Ellie's holding back. They don't care if we distrust them because of this. Yeah, they said it was the Mutt Motel was the IP guy. No, VPNs hide your location and hide where you are. Oh, boot liquor.
Not the TikTokers, though.
Oh, TikTokers hate you.
Booty liquor. Okay, going after...
He said booty liquor. He said booty liquor, like ass kisser.
everything we can. Appreciate it. Not the TikTokers, though. Some of those things need to stay as an investigative tactic.
I think socialites will be very forgiving of you for that.
That's appreciated. Not the TikTokers, though.
Oh, TikTokers hate you.
Booty liquor. Okay, going after everything we can see the applications that she's using on her phone, even with the VPN. We can actually start to get into some of those messages, regardless what some people think. If you know what you're doing, you can actually find that. The problem is minutes matter, and that takes quite a bit of time to do. So yes, while we can really access these critical things, by the time we figure it all out, we paint that picture, the kid's gone, potentially in another country. And this happens fairly regularly. So it's a scary thing. So your ability to not only do this, but do it quickly is really, really important. And that's why these task force are so important, because you get a group of experts in different fields and they all just know their lane and they start running down. Now, in the past, we've had a handful of cases. We've been a little hard on the FBI. Got to pump up the FBI this week.
Oh, this is good.
They are part of this task force that I was on that we worked this case. They had a pretty major role in it as well. Mm-hmm. Excellent people. They did an amazing job. They came in, they killed it. We worked very well together. I want our listeners to understand we have a lot of cases we've worked with the FBI on, and we've had great relationships with them. So this is one of those cases where I've got to give them some props. They were a major component of rescuing.
Okay, so the FBI doesn't work with outside entities, right? Oh, but you'll believe this guy because he's what? Got a bald head and a hat on and a button-up shirt? But dog can't work with them, right? No, dog can't work with the FBI because he's got feathers in his hair and he's 71. Fuck directly off with that shit. There's only so many FBI agents. They use outside sources all the time.
This child here in a little bit. One of the things that we like to look at, though, is changes in patterns. And we've talked a lot on Socialite Crime Club about recognizing patterns, especially in phone records. In this particular case, there was a particular pattern, I'm not going to get into details, that we were able to recognize where boom, all of a sudden we get this number. And it wasn't a common number. It's not something that's just going to stand out if parents look at it and they're going to be like, oh, it's definitely this number. But all the same, we were able to figure out a number. On the live this Sunday, I'm going to get a little bit more in the weeds on this because I'm actually going to put the records in and show this route that the suspect took.
Oh, damn. Okay, so Sunday, make sure you follow them. I did see, and thank you for emailing me, Restored. I want to get through this, and I've got some other things to do, but I definitely appreciate you sending me an email, and I will check it when I get done with the stream and write you back. Thank you so much for your super chat. Yes, I did. I didn't know if you could hear me. I kind of was talking over the video.
And why this number was so critical. But I'm also going to fall back to we've got to get the data quick. And at the end of today's episode, I'm going to get into some of the challenges with law enforcement and how the general public can help with this when it comes to getting data. Data is really, really important. It's king. That's what solves these cases. Now, in these cases, I want to talk about search warrants for just a second. A lot of people probably don't realize there is an exception to search warrants when it comes to child abductions. I don't need a search warrant if it's an active child abduction. Not only can I render exigency, but there's also another provision within the Constitution. So before everybody's like, you don't understand the Constitution. No, there are exceptions to the Fourth Amendment. Child sex trafficking is one of them. So we can move pretty quickly when we need to for this data. And I just want people to understand there is still a legal process we have to follow. We have to maintain. That's being done. So I don't want to say we're cutting that out.
I think as a citizen, you should be up in arms if law enforcement is not moving quickly enough to find your child or to do something about a predator who is coming after your child.
Yeah, when we look at all the ways data is used today in our everyday lives, you and I were having a conversation a couple nights ago where we were eating dinner. I had left my phone at home accidentally. We're having a conversation. Later that night, we go home. I'm getting stuff popping up in my Facebook feed about the conversation we had at dinner, and my phone wasn't even present.
That's interesting you're saying that about Facebook. I was looking through my phone this morning, and you know how they offer you friend suggestions? There are friend suggestions in there that are linked to my contacts who I never talk to. And my settings.
Okay, listen to this. This is about the algorithm. Yes, the link is being shared to their channel in the chat. This is really interesting. She's talking about the algorithm of Facebook. And when people search for you, that's how you get your recommendations. Listen.
For Facebook are set to not have them have any access to my contacts, my pictures, anything. Yet they're still popping up as friend suggestions.
Little inside secret here. Do you know what the number one driver of that is?
What?
People who are looking you up on Facebook.
Oh, interesting.
If somebody comes in and they physically look you up and then they tap onto your profile and they're kind of looking at whatever they can see, Facebook will suggest them to you as a friend.
Oh, creepers. I've got all.
See? Creepers. If they're looking at kids, they're going to come up as a suggestion. Did you hear me? If they're looking at your kid's profile, they are going to come up as a recommended friend.
Kinds of people.
Listen again.
Facebook.
Oh,
little inside secret here. Do you know what the number one driver of that is?
What?
People who are looking you up on Facebook.
Oh, interesting.
If somebody comes in and they physically look you up and then they tap onto your profile and they're kind of looking at whatever they can see, Facebook will suggest them to you as a friend.
Oh, creepers. I've got all kinds of people popping up in my suggested friends now who I don't even have friends associated with. So don't come looking for me anymore out there.
Okay, so based on this analysis and this number that...
She's... Yeah, but isn't that fucking disturbing?
pops up. We feel like, okay, this number is going to be tied to our suspect. We don't know how yet, but most likely this. So we start running with that information. We find out it comes back to a burner phone, no subscriber information at all. Then the first, ooh, this isn't good. It was purchased in Cypress, Texas, about a month before the abduction. When we look at the history of communication, about the same time the communication with this particular victim starts, there's a burner phone. When we get cases like this, most likely this phone was purchased with the intent to only use it for this victim.
Right.
And it's not only in a different city, it's a different state. This raises the threat level tremendously because now we have a potential child sex trafficker who's coming in from another state to target this child. It's not because they want to hang out at Denny's, right? There is an intent at this point, most likely, to remove this child from the state, if not the country.
Well,
do you see how when we stop talking about the drama, my numbers dropped 300 people? That's why this is an ongoing fucking problem. Because the 1,200 people that were here to hear the drama are gone. Explains a lot about people here on YouTube, in my opinion.
Well, what's more scary is when they have the ability to send a burner phone to the child. So it's another device that the parents have no idea about.
You know, and a scary fact here too, that
send a burner phone
likely to remove this child from the state, if not the country.
Well, what's more scary is when they have the ability to send a burner phone to the child. So it's another device that the parents have no idea. Is when they have the ability to send a burner phone to the child. So it's another device that the parents have no idea about.
You know, and a scary fact here too, that a lot of people don't realize, it doesn't involve this case, but I've had several others that it did. You can fly teenagers without parental consent. So I can buy teenagers, I want to say with a couple airlines, as young as 12. I can buy them an airline ticket, send it to them. They can show up at an airport through an Uber, get on a plane, fly across the country, and nobody questions it.
Yep.
Did you hear that? Everybody should be listening to this, but 400 people went over to listen to drama. This is where the line gets drawn, because this is real life. That person in here, this isn't real life. I don't need lessons. Unbelievable. And that person said they had adult kids. Yikes. You don't need an Uber. Parents call Ubers for their teenagers all the time. Are you kidding? I wouldn't, but people do.
Kind of scary.
And it happens so quickly.
Yeah, so quickly. So now that we've figured out this phone and these other factors keying in that, oh, this is raising our threat level a little bit more, we're throwing everything we have. We're activating every access we have of investigators and different teams. We have the task force that I was associated with. We'll get into that later on, probably more in the live. Louisiana State Police are on it, and they have a great team specifically for this. Obviously, all the local law enforcement, and then, like I said earlier, the FBI. We're going to start looking at the timing data. I'm not going to get into timing right now. We'll talk a little bit in the live with it, but everybody's seen a handful of our cases now with timing data. We also have a PIN register, and what a PIN register is, we're seeing live connections in real time. So if somebody makes a phone call from that phone, we'll see it in real time. We don't hear it. We can't read the content, so we don't have a wiretap, but we can see those active calls. We also have a cell site simulator standing by. So we can't use it yet because we don't have this phone pinned down to an area. But once we get the phone in a location we feel pretty comfortable with, that, okay, we know where the phone is.
But don't you think it's a little sus that someone would come in here claiming to know everything and don't need any more information on trafficking? I do too, Cricket. I do too.
Is now we can bring a cell site simulator in and actually physically say that phone is in that house. So we have all the resources, but we're just trying to plow through the information. And I want to walk through how this thing actually plays out, because it's kind of cool how these resources, when they're used properly, how quickly and effectively they can be used. Now, if anybody's curious about timing, because I went through that pretty fast, episode 33, X marks the spot, we really get in depth with timing, and we show how we recovered a victim that was actually buried alive based on the timing records. In this particular case, the timing data is going to take us back to kind of this trailer park area. I know it's weird, Louisiana, rural Louisiana, some trailers. But it's going to take us into this general trailer park area. And the problem with that is it's really hard to pinpoint a specific trailer.
Sure.
The other issue, one way in, one way out. We have to take in some tactical considerations here. We don't want to send a surveillance team into this trailer park and they get identified and burned right away. We don't know what's going to happen to the victim. We don't know the threat potential of this suspect yet. Cell site simulator, you've got to get close to it and you've got to drive around it a couple times. So if they're really savvy to law enforcement tactics, it's going to be very easy for them to identify, oh, they're looking for us.
Well, especially when it is a really rural location and there aren't many cars that drive by a victim's house.
Right. And the scary part is the only thing tying us to this victim right now is the phone. The number one consideration is we hink up the suspect. He dumps that phone. They're in the wind. And this is where we lose victims forever, right? This is where we've crossed that line we can't come back from. So we have to kind of put the brakes on at this point. Even though it's looking good, we have a general area. You've got to be so sensitive. They see that truck come in and they turn that phone off, this case is done.
Right.
So we've got to be really methodical about how we're going at this. So instead of just rushing in, we're going to hold back. And I got to tell you, as an investigator, there's nothing more stressful, nothing that is going to raise your anxiety level any higher than knowing you know roughly where this victim is, where this 11-year-old girl is being held.
There was an Uber in the neighborhood, and it was said that somebody was going to the airport. Huh. I forgot about that. You've seen what truck? Crystal, what are you talking about? We're not even talking about a truck. If burner phones were such a problem with crimes, why hasn't the government stepped in and stopped them or put in effect something where they can be traceable? Because people's rights. That's why. Because it's people's rights and they have to go through the hoops. This whole thing is like newer. You know what I'm saying? There weren't always burner phones given to kids and Ubers picking them up and all this shit.
But I can't act on it yet. Because if I just run in there, I could screw this up. I've got to wait a little bit to gather more evidence. So hard to do.
Also, knowing the anxiety that the parents have at that point, and also the stress that your agency is under, and the pressure that your command staff has you under to solve this.
And every bad thought you can think is going through your head, like, what is happening to her right now? And I've worked enough of these cases. I know what's happening.
Yeah.
Like, but at the same point, you've got to be controlled. And it's very hard to do sometimes. So we slow things down because experience tells us we have to. It's those just minutes grinding by, and all of a sudden the phone makes a phone call, which is good. This is intelligence for us. We're able to use a handful of tools, and I want to talk a little bit about these tools. Using a product through LexisNexis, we're able to see when this person calls the phone. We can run the phone number through LexisNexis's system, and we can look at prior contacts that police have had with that particular phone number. And a lot of people get really wrapped around the axles, as they should, about data brokers, the big data companies, people having your personal information. It is a scary world, and we'll talk a little bit more about this in a little bit. But there's also
people having your personal information. How many addresses were asked for in this case?
Listening for data for good. And this is one of those cases. Law enforcement has to have access to this type of data. This is what is saving kids like this.
Right.
So I wanted to touch on that really quickly so that to the average citizen, when they see these campaigns.
But they're telling you they trace the burner phone. He's telling you, but he's not telling you how, because they don't want to give away their tactics. He just told you they trace the burner phone.
Campaigns to restrict data where law enforcement can't have access to data because, it might violate your privacy rights. Well, it might also save an 11-year-old child. In fact, let's be honest, law enforcement's using this way more to save people than they are to simply snoop.
Right. They don't have as much time to go after just good people as a lot of people would like to think they have.
Yeah, and I see some of these campaigns about, we got to stop this data sharing, and they look really tempting, and it's easy to get pulled into this where I can be a supporter of this. But when you do...
See, it's about people's rights. They're saying, we don't want to share our data. We don't want to share our data.
You have to understand, when you rid law enforcement of tools like this, we have an 11-year-old that might get sexually trafficked into Mexico and never come back.
It's not just an 11-year-old. It's
Into
millions of
Mexico.
kids.
Now, luckily, when we run this phone number that our suspect has called, we don't know who this phone number is yet. We run it. It comes back associated with an accident report out of Houston. And we start looking into a little bit. And this accident report in Houston has a vehicle description. It has a license plate. And it has a roommate's name that was the passenger during this accident. Well, now we have people in the area. They're not actively looking at the trailers, but they're in the area. And using binoculars, one of the agents can see a car that matches the car in the accident report, same license plate. And all of a sudden we figure out the person who was driving is the person that our suspect is calling. He's calling his roommate. So very quickly we're able to put together, hey, this looks like this guy's roommate. This guy's somewhere in this trailer park. He's calling his roommate back in Houston, or just outside of Houston, Cypress, Texas.
Sure.
And he's driving the same car that they were driving at this accident. So now we know the vehicle, which gives us the trailer. Now we can start to move our resources where we need to actually effect a rescue. All right, I want to show a little bit of the route, because as we're figuring out this trailer, I'm also putting the final touches on looking at the timing data of our suspect phone leading up to, during, and after the abduction.
When we're talking about timing data, in this specific case, we're talking about RTT data.
That is correct.
And we're going to Verizon device.
This is a Verizon device, and we're going to get into this on our live, where we're going to cut in a little bit more and show how accurate this was. But I didn't want we start to really get in the weeds there, and it's going to make this episode go like 3.5 hours. So I've got to break it up a little bit. But to summarize this, at 20:59, so that's 8:59 hours. That's just where I'm picking it up. We have a lot of data before that, but this is where he's driving into the area, and he drove from Cypress, Texas, 400 miles.
To get a hold of this child.
So that's the first red flag. This person isn't just talking to the girl next door. He has taken a lot of time to find a victim in another state altogether. We can kind of see how he goes up north in the center of the screen there, and then kind of heads out to the east where Tallulah is. And then where I have the 22:37, so that's 10:37 p.m. Notice there's kind of like a little tail in the trail. This is where he deviates from the main highway and actually drives out to where she lives. And we can see him driving right to her driveway, which like I said is about a quarter mile long, and then immediately out. He's going to return by going down to the south. The real scary one that comes out is, notice where I have 23:46, so that's 11:46 p.m. And then I have 00:03. That's going to be basically 3 minutes after midnight. Notice the next hit we get there, 01:32. We have an hour and a half gap. There's a little deviation there, too, on the main road where they deviate, drive way off the road to a back lot.
Yeah.
They're in a parking lot parked for about 50 minutes.
Wow. That is scary.
Within an hour or less, he has deviated from his route, and now he has stopped the car in the middle of nowhere with our victim for 50 minutes.
He just couldn't wait to get his hands on her.
Could not wait. Then at 01:32, that's where we see he's returning to this area where this trailer park is at. The reason I wanted to get this piece first is it sounds really good. Hey, let's just go, right? Let's go to this trailer. Let's rescue this girl. But this is some intelligence that's really important.
Okay, before we get into this intelligence about the burner phones, think of Rex Huerman. Okay, so not only are there burner phones that they can trace, but there's also cameras. Okay, so in order to acquire a burner phone, you have to purchase a burner phone. Do you remember when Rex Huerman was on camera at the phone store buying the damn burner phone? They traced his burner phones, exactly, be in Florida. That's how they caught the Long Island serial killer.
Did they stop anywhere else? Is there any other intelligence that we can gain as far as are there other people? Are we just looking for one suspect? Do we have multiple suspects?
Right.
Is there a possibility by mapping this, we can find a camera really quick and maybe we can get a couple video angles where we can identify what our suspect looks like and we have a very clear picture?
Bing bong. It's using tons of resources together. It's not just data, right? And all of do you think that they gather this stuff in like a day? No, it takes time. It takes time.
Of who we're looking for.
Sure.
I've had cases where in the heat of the moment, everything's happening and people are coming out of the woodwork and we make contact with the suspect. We didn't realize it was a suspect and they just walk off, right? So any intelligence we can gather before we actually hit this trailer is really important. So that's what this piece was. Unfortunately, we could not find any video. It is what it is. We've got to go at this point. We can't wait any longer. So focusing on the car, the FBI gets involved with some of the locals in the state. They are going to use a cell site simulator to pinpoint, yep, that phone is in that trailer. We're good to go. And they move in. Luckily, this one goes down really smoothly. They're able to perform the rescue. So they find the victim in there, get her out of there very quickly. And they take our suspect into custody, who is Angel Ramirez. Angel's 22. Our victim's 11.
I have a question. Going back to your map a little bit.
22 and 11. 22 and 11.
And the timing. How long had the child been noticeably gone from her home before she was actually found, before she was, I guess, reported missing?
She was reported later that evening. The alert came out the next day. The group that I was working with got notified that morning. We had him in custody by late afternoon, early evening. So I think start to finish, I think it was about a day, about a 24-hour window. And we got lucky. If he would have dropped that phone or he would have left, we probably would not have found her. And she was going to be sex trafficked. That's what this was all about. He did sexually assault her when I said he stopped for 55 minutes. That's what that was all about. She's going to confirm this later on. So this was the intention, where somebody took a lot of time grooming, got her to willingly leave her house, turn off her phone, hide her communications, get into his car, willingly go with him. And she had a great relationship with her parents.
Do we know how long his grooming process had taken place with her?
It looks about a month. Roughly, give or take.
That's not very long.
No. And all in all, she's a good girl. I'm not going to use any names, obviously, because of the child nature of the crime.
Hey, I just want to say, if you're worried about your data and you're on TikTok, you got bigger problems than anything else. Because if you're worried about your data being tracked, and you're on TikTok, all your data is in friggin' China. So I hope that makes you feel comfortable. I mean, come on. If my data is used, what's it going to be used for? Nothing. I don't have anything to hide. But if it helps find a child, abso-fucking-lutely. You're going to put limits on now tracking down predators? No limits. We want this shit combated? Oh, there's 500,000 of them online. Why aren't they getting them? Oh, I don't know. Maybe because people go, I have rights and I don't want my data shared. Fuck that. If you don't have anything to hide, what the fuck? They're not going to be looking at your shit. But if you're looking at like shit you're not supposed to, you might just need to be worried. I mean, let's just call it like it is.
But she's a good girl. I have text message content. I'm not going to get into it, but it was very clear she communicates with her mom on a regular basis. In fact, there's a really critical text message that I see that's triggering all of this. It's just before she sneaks out of her bedroom window. And one of the last things she texts her mom is, I love you, mama.
Oh, God.
Like she's just,
Did you hear that? Right before she snuck out of her window to meet the 22-year-old, she texted her mom, I love you, mama.
wouldn't suspect window. And a really critical text message that I see that's triggering all of this. It's just before she sneaks out of her bedroom window. And one of the last things she texts her mom is, I love you, mama.
Oh, God.
Like she's just, you wouldn't suspect it because it's not her intention to hurt mom and dad. This isn't about them. She doesn't see it. She's in a different mind space altogether.
Well, I think too, when we were going over some of the phone records in this case, when we were looking at some of the text messages, one of the things that stood out to me was the time of night he was communicating with her.
Yeah, we would see a lot of the activity would dramatically increase after about 10:30, 11 o'clock at night.
There were intentional disruptions in her sleep to get her to communicate with him at times when he would intentionally not text her during times that he knew parents would probably be around.
Right.
And he would tell her things like, sorry, I didn't text you. I didn't text you back around 8 o'clock, or sorry, I didn't text you earlier. So instead, he would intentionally text and text until she would wake up at 1 o'clock in the morning to have a conversation with him. And again, this is to isolate her from any adult in her life.
After the dust settles, it's always kind of interesting with these cases because typically I'll get a phone call. I just get this flood of information. I'm feeding information.
Grooming. Yep. I love you, mama. I love you, puppies.
Back as fast as I can. And then usually when, the rescue comes, they're busy. I'm somewhere else. I've been doing everything by phone. And sometimes I don't hear anything back other than, yep, we got her, good go, thanks. And this one, I got a text message from one of the local officers that was working this. And I'll read it out there for those of you who aren't watching YouTube. Y'all saved a life last night. I'd like to thank everyone that helped with our search yesterday last night. We could not have been successful without your help. He will be facing life, and y'all helped her be on a place for a path of a new life. Just so y'all can see how close you put us to his residence. So he sent this to me, and I have a screenshot from my text message conversation on this one. When we were tracking this kid or this phone, there was at one point where I'm trying to get information across, and it's hard to get addresses, and there's some trailers, and they're buried in these trees. So finally, I just took a picture, and I drew a circle on my phone around the picture, and I texted it to him. I said, she's within the circle. I don't know where within the circle, but she's within the circle. So he's sending that back to me to say, hey, this is where we found her. Like, this circle is it. So it was nice to get that feedback too and actually be like, okay, it works. The accuracy is there. And, I get a lot of people who are like, oh yeah, but how do you know that stuff is accurate? And I can harp all day on the science behind it. I can harp all day on the experience behind it. But at the end of the day, when we have stuff like this, where we're tracking a phone, we make a shape on a map and we say, you need to go here. And they rescue an 11-year-old girl from that shape.
It's the number of times you have success with it.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you get those text messages and you realize like, okay, we're doing the right thing, right? That's why we want to do that. So there is some experience and knowledge coming from this place where we've worked a lot of these cases. And there's some things that I think I want to talk about a little bit more that people probably don't realize. And in my opinion, the first mistake we make as a society when we're combating child sex trafficking is we try to think, well, who's most susceptible? Who are the potential victims? And it's common for people to try to put a victim demographic or victims in a particular box because it's easier to understand, right? Well, only these victims are probably the ones that are most susceptible.
Sure.
The mistake we're making here is every child. It doesn't matter your background. It doesn't matter your economic, your political, your socioeconomic status. Every child is and has been susceptible to do this. So I want to start this episode with making this very clear. There is no risk profile associated with a victim on this particular crime. If you're a child, you're at risk.
For centuries, it's been this way. I think now with the rise of the internet.
Listen, the school tablets, do you remember that it was said that Sebastian didn't have anything from the school? They truly, the Proudfoots, in my opinion, didn't want him online. And then we got Robin Rogers buying him a fucking laptop. And then we got Seth wanting to put him online all day for school. The fuck?
Internet and so many children having access to online resources, they're even more susceptible.
Oh, it's growing exponentially. And the odds are everybody who ever listens to this particular episode knows somebody who has been targeted online by a sexual predator. We're going to get into some stats here in a little bit that are going to be scary.
If they themselves haven't already been targeted, because we have a lot of people who grew up in their teens, their adolescent years with online activity, and they're adults now.
Right. And I was very cognizant in putting this episode together. I know we are going to have some victims of exactly what we're describing today. Watch this episode. And I want to be very respectful with that. But at the same point, and you're our voices, right? Comment, get involved, help share, because we do believe the biggest way to combat this is education and awareness. The second thing I want to bring up right from the beginning is this idea that, well, I'm not too worried about this. It's never going to happen to my child. I'm a good parent. I make sure that my child is involved in these things. I monitor their stuff. Oh no, I'm really involved in my child's life. And I want to give a little bit more background to that, that is a big mistake. That is a mistake you do not want to make. Every child is susceptible to this. And every once in a while I hear this, yeah, but I taught my children better. They know not to do that. Some of the way that these suspects approach children, and we're going to get into the grooming process. By the time we realize what's happening, it's too late for your child as well. Adults are susceptible to this, and we're going to get into how that happens. And if an adult can be sucked into this web of lies and deceit, of course children can. So we have to assume every child's susceptible, whether it's your child or somebody else's child. And we can't judge children about making poor decisions. That's why there's a lot of laws and rules that we don't let kids do things until a certain age.
And just because your child isn't sex trafficked or lured away somehow does not mean that they are not being stalked online by a nefarious person with someone with malintent who could be sending them pictures, who could be just introducing them to things that you have no idea your child is learning about.
Yeah, and I want to also touch a little bit on, well, who's the threat? If we accept all children are potential victims of this and susceptible to this, who is it that's the threat? What is the actual suspect demographic that we're looking for here? And this is where it gets scary. It's adults who are extremely talented at conversing. They fit in very well with the crowd. They interact well with others. They find it very natural and easy to strike up a conversation. They're patient. They're willing to take months, if not years, to manipulate a child, waiting for that perfect opportunity. It's someone you would not suspect. In fact, most likely, you know someone who has targeted a child online in the past. So I want to take a second and go back to Gun on the Run, episode 11. If you remember right, Holcomb Gunn, remember, he got into the family first, not the child. When he decided to target this child, he used the parents for intelligence gathering, for figuring out the weak points in this child's life, what could be exploited and vulnerable. But he went through the parents to get to the kid. And I think it's really important to understand, these weren't dumb parents. They were very smart, very educated people, and they fell for it. And if a parent can get trapped in this, of course a child can.
Right. And when we say this goes back centuries as far as child predatory behavior, this is how easy it is for familial violence to take place upon children and predatory behavior to happen between families and also between friends.
You hear this? Pay attention.
Potentially of families. So it's progressively getting worse, though, like we said, through the ease of access of online content.
Let's frame this a little bit more, though. I'm going to use a stat from the National Sex Offender Registry. The typical pedophile will commit 117 sexual crimes in their lifetime.
Oh
with the same victim or with multiple victims?
Multiple, same, just 117 separate sex crimes in their life.
117 sex crimes in their lifetime. These are real numbers, guys. This isn't a fucking joke. This isn't drama. This shit is happening every fucking day.
That's the average.
That is crazy.
Well, let me frame this a little differently. If we had a serial murder suspect where the average body count for our serial murder suspects was 117, I think it'd be safe to say law enforcement's failing. If we had a serial bank robbery and the average number of banks a serial bank robber robs before we catch them is 117, we're failing.
Mm-hmm.
If we just look at sex assault suspects, if we had, could you imagine, not like the highest ever seen, the average serial sex assault suspect can rape 117 women before law enforcement catches them. The average. We're failing.
What's the crime of the century?
Yeah, and I'm not saying that's the high one. I'm saying every serial sex assault case out there, the average is 117.
Right.
People would absolutely lose their minds because we're failing as a society to enforce a very basic needed law.
Well, I think that's a key word, is that you said we're failing as a society. It's not just law enforcement, but I think as a community, we allow ourselves to ignore it more. We allow ourselves to push it aside and believe that it's not happening or that it couldn't happen.
Because it's hard. It's a hard subject to listen to. Nobody wants to listen to crimes involving children, especially exploited children that are being trafficked or used sexually. It is a very difficult topic.
It's also a very shameful topic.
It is. It's shameful. It's difficult. But thank you for sticking around and listening to it, guys. It's also shameful and difficult for me to hear drama about Sebastian Rogers' case every fucking day. To me, I can't stand it anymore. I can't.
For a lot of families.
Right. So we don't want to talk about it. It gets swept under the rug. And unfortunately, it just doesn't get the attention that it needs to stop it. It's interesting because we have a documentary that I've been working on for a while that I really want to put together. It involves a serial sexual predator who was targeting children, both to sexually assault them and kill them. Multiple victims all over the country. My challenge with creating this documentary, no major network, no major studio will take it on.
Everybody wants to talk about true crime until they can't monetize from it.
They're worried because of the graphic content. It's too much for the viewer. I want to make this documentary as an educational piece to bring awareness to something that really needs awareness brought to it. More.
Okay, so I'm going to take a little quick break. Look, this is who you're watching. His name is Cy Ray. He's the founder of ZX Corporation and lead RF engineer. No, he's not an IT guy. He's beyond that. He's the lead RF engineer for 10-2 Technologies. He began his career with ZX after serving 20 years in law enforcement, where he spent time as a SWAT operator, homicide sergeant, and directing fugitive missions. Some of his work has been featured on several episodes of 48 Hours, 2020, The Discovery Channel, and Dateline, showcasing his investigative and technological experience. Cy spent time in Afghanistan as a field advisor for an undercover team targeting improvised IED cells. Thank you for your service, Cy Ray. Cy established ZX in 2014 as a one-stop shop for law enforcement as it pertains to cellular geolocation mapping, analysis, and training. The software he designed currently leads the industry in geolocation mapping of RF data, while devoting his career to bringing advanced training and investigative technology to LE. Cy is a subject matter expert in the field of geolocation mapping and identifying target sets. And it goes on. It goes on. It goes on and on. I'll put the link in chat.
More importantly, I want to highlight how we can prevent a lot of this stuff through some technology, information sharing. It's a very educational documentary, but it's such a hard subject matter, people won't touch it. So we're going to have to produce it on our own.
Yeah. And I think the important thing here, though, is that if we can't even get major networks to touch it, such a heinous crime, then the only people who are responsible at this point for doing something about it is you as a community.
Yeah, and that's where this episode was really impactful for me to put together, is I wanted to figure out, how do I deliver this message the right way? Because at the end of the day, we as a society lack the appetite to unite and fight where we need to when it comes to child sex trafficking. By the way, did you know that you can't use Unite on Google?
I am very aware. Google does not like when content creators, or if you use any type of search engine optimization, using the word unite or exclamation marks.
Unite is very divisive.
It's such a divisive word. So let's unite. Let's stand together. Socialites.
Yeah, this is our call to action for this episode, is to share it. The first thing everybody can do, and we're going to list a number of things throughout this episode, so stay tuned. We're going to get into all the different things that you personally can do to help with this. But the first thing is to share. We need to educate. We need to get stuff out there. Got another stat for you.
Yeah.
This one is really disturbing.
Okay.
Everybody loves to rescue a pet. If we have an animal in danger in the United States,
shit.
I guarantee you society's going to come out and find a way to solve this. Last year, over...
Oh, Cricket. He's talking about pet rescues. The hell? The Mutt Motel.
6 billion
Listen.
states, I guarantee you society's going to come out and find a way to solve this. Last year, over $6 billion was dedicated to animal rescues in the United States alone. $6 billion.
That includes reptiles and parrots.
Yeah. Do you know what we spent on child sex trafficking efforts?
Much less?
$220 million. So
that's a lot of zeros of difference.
It's 4%. When it comes to our children and actually trying to enforce child sex trafficking, child online predator behavior, we spent 4% of our rescue parakeet and python budget. Like, that is insane. And I think it goes back to the whole point that I want to make in the very early part of this episode. It's because people turn away. It's a hard subject. It's much easier to be like, I saved a puppy today, right? At the end of the day, we have to look at this in the face. We have to see it for what it is. And we all have to take a step to advance the solution, right? We've got to figure out how to fix it.
Well, and going back to that embarrassing piece and that shameful piece, I think oftentimes it's too easy to victim blame a child.
Yeah.
And we have to stop doing that. We have to get over this idea of, oh, something sexual happened to my child. It's shameful. We can't talk about it. As a society, we can no longer tolerate that.
Or even worse, I hear about it happening to somebody else's family, and my first thought is, well, you know how those parents.
Right. They never watch their kids online.
Yeah, stop.
They send their kids to the park by themselves.
Grooming. It is so important for everybody to understand grooming. It's the way.
Are you guys paying attention?
That I lure a child into my web, if you will. And we're going to get kind of a step-by-step process. Now, I want to clarify a couple things here really quick. Physical abduction. Me driving down the street, seeing a child and kidnapping that child just because I saw them and the opportunity was there, it happens. But it is not nearly as prolific or frequent as what we see with this online grooming or a grooming process in any capacity. If you remember right, we did episode 31 was our before school abduction, the propaganda episode. That was what I'm talking about this random abduction. She was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Somebody drove by, saw her, and they kidnapped her. That's not what we're talking about for this episode. We're going to get into more of this grooming because that's where the numbers, that's where we're getting hit the worst. Another scary stat for you.
Okay.
Every day in America, there's 500,000, that's 500,000 online predators on the internet targeting children. 500,000 a day.
And these could be people sitting at their desk job. These could be people just who don't have a job, who sit around with nothing to do, and they're everywhere. They're on gaming consoles. They're in different apps online. They're in simple apps that your children use for school.
Yeah, when I'm talking about grooming.
They're in simple apps that your children use for school. Did you hear me?
It's the ability or the desire to draw the victim away from their houses to gain trust, dependency of a young victim who may run away from home. Somehow they start trusting this person. And the first step is often a development of a relationship. With an older man, it usually gets framed as some type of a boyfriend.
Right. And older men will often portray themselves as being much younger than what they are online. And they'll use verbiage like a teenager might use that your child might be a little bit more susceptible to want to talk to them and engage with them because they feel like they're at a level of understanding with your child.
Yeah, so let's jump into the first part. How do they pick a victim? What is it that they see or recognize that makes them think, oh, this is the person? Now, historically, if we were to break this down and I'm a child predator and I'm looking for a victim, I'm looking for somebody who has emotional neediness, low self-confidence, and maybe some type of economic stress.
That's like every teenage girl in America.
Yes, 100%, right? Yes. The other thing is there's phishing scams. Just like people fish for your credit card information and your personal information, online predators will cast a very large net just to see what they snare, right?
Fishing. We go fishing in the middle of the night. Fishing! Why has fishing been such a thing?
So where there can be this directed targeting, there can also be just a general search term that's put out there that they just start massively hitting every profile they can to see what comes back. So when we say every child is susceptible, every child is susceptible.
Now, we definitely may have children who don't catch on to this, who they just ignore it, or they know they have a bad feeling about it. So they don't engage with those people. And that is great. I wish that all of our children on the internet would do that. But unfortunately, they're not all like that.
Well, if this is hard for parents to watch, it's even harder to talk about. And that's why I'm trying to make a big point right up front today. You have to engage. You can't look away. The more you engage, the more you educate, the more knowledge you have about something, the easier it's going to be to talk about it. This should be a mainstream discussion that we have conversations with our children every day. Teachers should be having these conversations.
And they should start at a very young age.
Absolutely. And you know what? I just put his resume in the chat. I'll put it there again. You guys can read up on him. He ain't no rookie.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, too, the really scary thing is kids are so much better than parents with technology. Kids will run circles around their parents with the latest gaming application, with the latest chat application. They will figure out ways to communicate on their phone, their PlayStation, their Xbox. We've seen stuff with, what is it, the DS Switch or the Nintendo Switch?
Yes.
The Switch. Do you hear this? Oh my God.
Yeah, the Nintendo Switch.
My Samsung Watch, my iPhone Watch. Kids will figure out how to communicate with these tools that parents have no concept how it works.
And if your kid is wanting a Samsung Watch over an Apple Watch, it's because the Samsung Watch is much easier to use and it's very chatty for online communication.
It's easy. There's very few restrictions. It's hard to monitor. It's very easy to get away with things that my parents know nothing about. Sorry, kids, we're going to ruin some of your avenues this episode.
Well, I also think this goes to if it's something that you're so willing to ignore just to talk about, then you're probably also willing to ignore looking for it every day or at least twice a week on your children's devices.
Or more scary, maybe they don't know what to look for. And that's what we're going to help with today. So number one is the predator targeting a child, which I think we've pretty clearly defined. It's every child. The second thing they're going to do is they're going to start to figure out ways to gain trust with the victim. These will start very simple, casual conversations, just building up a rapport, building up some dependency that starts to come back. I'm a kid. I'm seeking friends. Some people are mean. Maybe I got bullied today. Maybe I'm being bullied a little bit online, but I have this one person. I don't know anything about them other than a screen name, which sounds really cute and cuddly, but now they're my friend because they never pick on me. They're always there for me. They always say nice things to me. It's very easy to get caught up in, this is a good person. And I think that's important for people to understand. Early, when this is happening, they're a great person. They're actually probably a positive role model in that child's life at that time because it hasn't turned nefarious yet.
Well, because they're doing uplifting things. They're saying uplifting things to boost a child's confidence. They're saying things like, you could be really good at this. Oh, you like that? I'm going to encourage you to go forth, go sing, go get dance lessons. You could be really great.
Yeah, and if we go back again to Gun on the Run, episode 11, remember, Gunn was targeting the parents. He convinced the parents that he was a good person and that they trusted him. They took him on vacations. And then he invited this 12-year-old into his house to start cleaning the house because she needed just a little bit of money. And the parents are the ones who supported it. So it can be a positive thing where you don't realize it because a lot of parents would think, no, he's a good guy. He's been a great family friend. She's making a little bit of money. It's a good thing.
It's those gifts. Once you start seeing things come into your child's backpack, maybe jewelry.
I just want to say, remember the story about Seth having Sebastian get that 16-year-old waitress's number? What do you think that was about?
Or new pencils, some things that are very simple that you would never suspect your child receiving or coming home with are probably a huge red flag.
Yeah, and I want to also get into the intelligence building. This stage, step 2 of gaining trust, is where the predator is really digging into the victim's background, developing as much intelligence as they can on what makes this kid tick. What are they into? What are they not into? How can I be that person for them that they gravitate towards, right? How can I align better with them?
Such as divorced parents.
Yes.
Bad grades.
So easy to find out on social media where all these things come. So then we get to step 3, where now I've developed this relationship, I've developed intelligence, and I'm going to start filling in a need. I'm going to become somebody that they need because of something I'm providing. And this can go all over the place. Cash, again, going back to Gun on the Run, it was that job. It's something super simple, right? It's not this crazy, negative, dark thing people think it could be. Right. Sometimes it can be drugs and alcohol. Sometimes it is very easy for an adult to start providing something to the child that they don't normally get, but they see this as, oh, he's so nice to me. Cigarettes, something to smoke, marijuana.
Even clothing, shoes, whatever it is. And it's easy to provide those to kids now with the rise of Amazon. You can send something anywhere for anyone to get a package. And a parent may never know it.
The really scary thing, just being a friend. This kid is lonely. They're picked on a lot. If I'm just a good friend, I'm going to provide something to that kid that nobody else is. That's the really scary thing, is when you have these online predators with these horrible intentions, but at the same time, before they carry out those intentions, they're the best friend for your child. I mean, how screwed up is that child's surroundings at that point for that to take place? And maybe as a parent, me just simply seeing.
Crafty, I don't even know you, so I don't need you protecting me from anything. I have the right to show a public post from X. I don't know why that's striking a chord with you, and I don't know who you are, Crafty girl. But don't come in here telling me what I can show and trying to protect me. I don't even know you. You shouldn't be worried about protecting me. You're trying to scare me and you're trying to put veiled threats. Fuck off.
Seeing that my child is in that type of environment, I need to get involved. I need to get that child involved. I need to go find healthy, supportive friendships for that child to get a better reaction from.
Right. Well, I think it's also important to really monitor how much time your child is actually spending online, and not just online what you might think if they're doing homework. All of our kids have computers now that they bring home. They don't bring books home anymore a lot of times.
We're going to talk about that in a minute.
So monitoring how much time are they actually spending doing homework? And are they actually doing homework on their computers that they bring home from school?
Yeah, and a little inside information for our socialites. We don't typically talk about this too much. We have 4 girls.
Yeah.
I am an experienced father when it comes to raising girls. I've served my sentence, right? I've done my time.
You still are a bit.
I can tell you there is something about teenage girls, and I think a lot of it is the shows they watch, the social media profile, the influencers that they see, right? Everybody has to have this amazing love story. We build our entire foundation of being a teenager on, when I fall in love, and these, especially young, so many memories come flooding my PTSD. I'm going to get a nervous twitch.
See, it's hard for you to talk about.
Yeah, these damn kids. But anyway, where I'm headed with that is the really, really scary thing that these predators often find are just an open door and emotional love interest.
Just help a brother out.
The child at that susceptible age will just naturally gravitate toward that if the door.
But did you see what just happened to me? There's a Rome, Tennessee. Where's that at, T-Dub? Thank you for your $2 super chat. Coming in hot. Thank you so much. Did you see what just happened, though? Literally. I played a video from Court TV today. I showed an X post of someone's criminal history who's currently has a $25,000 GoFundMe. And I'm being told by someone I don't even know that does crafts. I don't know. Do you make wreaths, crafty girl? I don't know what the fuck you make. Are you Cricut machine? I don't know what you do. But why do you come into someone's random chat saying you're trying to protect me? Y'all give yourselves away so fucking easily. It's disgusting.
Doors open just right. And that is where it gets really scary, because now we're dealing with some very volatile emotions to where the child becomes a willing participant in deceptive acts towards their parents, their friends, other family members that are trying to help them. And now you're actually fighting 2 battles, right? You've got the online predator, but now you also have your child who's actively engaged in hiding and preventing you from knowing things.
No matter how much they tell you, I love you, I'm doing okay, everything's all right, nothing to worry about here, it is still something that you need to be mindful of, because you don't know how late they're staying up. You don't know how far an online predator will go to make sure that your child is up at 1:30 in the morning communicating with them while you're asleep.
It would seem in 2024, there would be ways to monitor that.
There are.
Maybe we'll talk about that later. Yeah, let's come back to that. Okay. Step 4, isolation. So now this friendship has been developed, this dependency, this need has been filled. Now the predators.
Isolation. Because she's blocked. That's why you can't see her. Oh, I know. Crafter's gonna fuck shit up. But listen, isolation. Online homeschooling. Father at work 12 hours a day. Sleeping the other 12, whatever.
Going to start moving towards isolating their victim. And what I mean by that is, let me pull the victim outside of their support circle so that I have more exposure to them. I can interact with them more freely. I can potentially start to exploit them in a way that's not being monitored. So this natural separation from the things that protect our children is part of the process. I've got to get them away from that, right?
Right.
And you will see this. This is typically where the first visible red flags are easy to see, is you have a very outgoing, engaging child who all of a sudden really starts to withdraw. The friend group dramatically changes. The amount of just FaceTime you're having with your own child changes. They are on their own. They're trying to be alone more and more and more. It's a huge red flag.
Right. And when they are with family and friends, oftentimes they're irritable. They're not interacting with family and friends how they would typically interact, or you can actually see signs of them just wanting to be away from everyone.
Yeah.
Gamers cruising. Jay, I love your channel. I just lurk a lot. LOL. Wait, where did it go? I'm always scared to say something. Don't be scared to say anything. Y'all can believe you can believe what you want. You can have your own opinions. I'm the one here with the platform. I'm giving you my opinion. You can take it for a grain of salt. I don't care. I'm just telling you how I feel. You can feel how you want to feel. But I just don't like people coming in here saying, oh, I'm trying to protect you. Like I'm in some kind of danger that I need protecting from. To me, I see that as a threat. I ain't new to the online world, okay? When someone I don't know comes in my chat and says, oh, I'm just trying to protect you, Jay. No, fuck off. You're blocked. You're done. That doesn't fly. Okay. It doesn't.
And the problem here is that this is where you really start to see the increase in trust and dependency with the predator. And why I say that's what really worries me, the exploitation piece is coming. When we hit this part, that path it's happening. It's just a matter of time. So it's so important that once you start to see this red flag, you got to jump on this fast, because really bad things are about to happen. And that brings us to step 5, which is the sexualizing of the relationship. This is the exploitation piece. And when we get to the step 5, this is where the predator has to start introducing some ideas that are probably not going to be the most normal or natural for the child to hear. but they make them where it becomes normal. It becomes natural. The new normal is to have this very sexual discussion with this older man. That almost becomes a mainstay in the child's life.
Right.
And that's the part that it's happening, right? We're already crossed that line now for sure.
Ooh, having sexual conversations with the child. Right? Not to bring up Sebastian's case, but we heard about wet dreams, didn't we? Better go take a shower, son. Boy.
The next step is to physically act on this sexualization of the relationship.
It will start off very soft in ways that a child may begin to feel a little bit uncomfortable, but they'll stay really soft in the words that they use to sexualize the relationship until they start to realize that the child is actually doing acts or talking about acts that this adult is introducing them to.
Right. And the victim at this point is very dependent on the groomer, if you will, for this need and this desire. They start to feed on it.
Right.
And now it's going to grow, right? And that's where we get to the final step, which is step 6. And this is where the abuse begins. Some type of sexual abuse typically, and also the ability to maintain control. When a predator has invested this much time and effort, and now they finally have reached this, right? They have their prize. They will go to extreme lengths to maintain that control. And it can be violent. It can get financial. It could be isolation. There's a bunch of different ways that this happens. And this is something we need to be aware of as we start to see, well, how do we get the child out of this situation?
It could also be through use of blackmail as well. So if they're trying to encourage the child to send some type of nude images or something like that, they may use that as blackmail towards a child too.
Yeah, we actually are going to have a case that is coming up that we got involved with a couple of months ago, maybe half a year ago. When I first heard it, I thought there's no way this is actually happening. But I got involved because I was concerned about it. And sure enough, we got the investigation rolling and they verified it. But this individual had come across Snapchat photos of different victims and was using those photos over their heads to keep them and prevent them from reporting.
Right.
So yeah, let's talk about the ease of access. You were talking about...
Can we play that part again? He was brought into a case a couple months ago. Listen.
Kids being to keep them vigilant. I got up that
as well. So if they're trying to encourage the child to send some type of nude images or something like that, they may use that as blackmail towards a child too.
Yeah, we actually are going to have a case that is coming up that we got involved with a couple months ago, maybe half a year ago. When I first heard it, I thought there's no way this is actually happening. But I got involved because I was concerned about it. And sure enough, we got the investigation rolling and they verified it. But this individual had come across Snapchat photos of different victims and was using those photos over their heads to keep them and prevent them from reporting.
Right.
So yeah, let's talk about the ease of access. You were talking about kids being issued laptops now at school instead of books. We're going to go to Bakersfield, California. 5th grade student. How old are you in 5th grade?
About 11.
So most schools across the country are now issuing these Chromebooks for their books. So kids don't get the old books anymore. They get a Chromebook and everything's loaded on that. And in this particular case, the students also have a school email. So the Chromebook they do all their homework on, they submit the homework through email. Now this particular school uses a chat platform called Discord.
Oh, Discord.
And the reason they use it is for...
Okay, you see her face? Oh, Discord. I don't remember Sharkbait being his nickname. I don't remember that.
Brother out.
Cram it, creepy cooters. I know. It's crazy. Thank you so much, Cram it. Thank you, Fit to be Tied. Or no, wait, who gifted? Be in Florida. Thank you for gifting. Fit to be Tied. Welcome to the Cooter Club. Do you remember Maddie was on Discord? Maddie Soto was on Discord.
For their sports programs to help schedule and get everybody talking and everybody where they need to be on certain days and certain times, they use Discord. Now the school recognizes we can't have students on Discord all the time. Like that's probably a bad thing.
I'm curious whose idea it was to use Discord.
So they put a filter on these Chromebooks that the students can only access Discord between like 3 and 6 p.m. during the sports times, right? And then they're scheduling all these things. Well, this 5th grader has nothing to do with the sports program, uses their school email, figures out that at 3 p.m. the block or the filter for Discord comes off, creates a Discord account and just starts chatting with people just because that's what 5th graders do. Right?
Between 3 and 6 p.m.
Between 3 and 6 p.m.
Typically when they're home doing homework.
Yes. And it's a distraction for me that I'm doing homework, but I can start these little chats on the side, right? What 5th grader doesn't want to do this?
And my parents will think that I'm doing my homework.
Yes. Every child's susceptible to this. Well, lo and behold, predators love to use Discord, and they will intentionally go into these chat rooms that are typically designed around homework, information sharing from the different schools, whatever it might be, because it's shooting fish in a barrel, right? It's a target-rich environment.
It is.
And in this particular case, an online...
Did you not pay attention to the Mr. Beast escapade? That Mr. Beast trans partner, whatever his name is, was talking to like 12 and 13-year-olds on Discord? I mean, did you guys not know that?
Predator from Texas starts to target this child, and it's in the grooming process at this point. The only thing that stops this is a dad gets on the computer to help their child with their homework. When bink, a little pop-up comes up. And it just didn't read right to him. He got concerned, so he gets into it, and he sees the entire chat conversation. And he recognizes this is somebody trying to sexually exploit my child on their school computer using their school Discord account.
Could you imagine the fury you would feel, not only towards this predator, but also the school?
Yes, exactly.
I would be furious.
But at the same point, that isn't abnormal. If people think this is an isolated incident, it's not. This is a very common, very, very common thing that's happening. So it's just an example I wanted to get out there of just how easy it can be. And the kid wasn't doing anything bad. Like, they just want to communicate and have fun while they're doing homework.
Okay, so yeah, Chris from Mr. Beast. So you know what's weird? Well, I was going to cover it, but YouTube, like, people are having problems that are covering Mr. Beast because Mr. Beast is the biggest fucking YouTuber. So sometimes it's not worth, you know, calling out Mr. Beast. But listen, Mr. Beast, his partner Chris, when he came on the scene with Mr. Beast, he's the biggest YouTuber. He's got 330 million followers or some shit like that. And trust me, kids know Mr. Beast. Kids know Mr. Beast. We don't know him because we're adults. He acts like a fucking weirdo. He's a fucking weirdo. And he's gotten rich off being a weirdo. But listen, this Chris guy comes into his team, right? As a married man with kids. Now, I'm sorry. I'm almost 51 years old. I'm not normalizing this shit. Y'all think that shit's normal? You can leave. I mean, if you don't like it, I don't care. Mr. Beast is the biggest YouTuber. Okay? Dude comes in as Chris, married with children, then divorces, becomes a woman. Mr. Beast promotes this. And then the next thing that comes out, Chris is like now some woman name. I can't remember the name. And they've been talking to underage kids on Discord. Like, no, fuck no. Mr. Beast has candy bars, all these different commercial. And oh, it's fucking huge for kids. Kids know Mr. Beast. Trust me. Trust me. Yes, he came in as a married man with babies, turned into a woman, and then was busted on Discord talking to 12-year-olds. Look it up. It's awful. This shit's right in our fucking faces, guys. Look at Blippi. Blippi did some nasty ass shit with like diarrhea and stuff before he became Blippi. These people ain't right. Dishpan fingers. These people ain't right.
Right. In some homes, it's probably perfectly natural for your kid to be using some type of a chat profile or a chat platform while they're doing homework. You're probably very well aware of that.
Right.
Question is, are you monitoring it?
It's easy to do on Snapchat. That's a stable application on kids' phone.
And again, you would think in 2024, there's got to be technology that can monitor these chats that could just notify me as a parent, hey.
Okay, let me share with you some of the Mr. Beast photos, okay? This is Chris before and after. This is May of 2023, Mr. Beast YouTube star Chris Tyson, that's his name. Hang on, I gotta switch my screen. Chris Tyson announces start of HRT, May 3rd, 2023. Okay. Mr. Beast, otherwise known as Jimmy Donaldson, is one of YouTube's biggest and fastest growing social media influencers. Notorious for his lavish sketches and selfless monetary donations to strangers. He started his YouTube channel when he was 11. While his videos are primarily focused on him, over the years, others such as Chris Tyson have integrated their way onto the screen as a constant collaborator. In many videos, Tyson has recently faced backlash from fans and patrons of the channel after they announced he would start hormone replacement therapy. And he shared his whole journey on X. I mean, this is, in my opinion, this shit's dangerous. Imagine his kids. I'm just saying. Imagine this being your dad. Oops. I didn't mean to do that. Imagine this being your dad. Look, yeah, this is getting absurd. Chris isn't my nightmare. He's my fucking friend, and things are fine. All this transphobia is starting to piss me off. Okay? Now, let's go to today. Let's talk about what Chris Tyson did on Discord. Hang on, I'm going to show you. 500,000 messages.
Website. Now, GitHub is this website right here where people can post, files and different types of repositories
500 whatever,
and they can constantly update it.
The trans part isn't the problem. All of it's a fucking problem. I'm sorry, but when my kids watch something for entertainment, they don't need to be infiltrated with trans shit. Who thinks that's okay? I don't think that's fucking okay. I'm sorry, I don't. This is supposed to be entertainment. It's not fucking okay to look at Chris, just put my nudes in. He's sharing nudes with underage kids. You tell me this person isn't fucked up? They don't know what gender they even want to be? And they're talking to 12-year-olds? Fuck that.
Right? So he did that.
Look.
Chris the Meme God, haha, Mr. Beast joins in to comment on my penis size. I love it. Who else but Quagmire? Discount Milk says, I love your penis. Tag says, Chris the Meme God has a huge cock. Can confirm. Lava, you all may know Lava GS as being the minor who came out and said that Ava did nothing wrong. These are all allegations. This is all slander. Take it all down.
Mm-hmm.
And then ended up taking that back and saying,
Chris is Ava. Chris Tyson became Ava. And y'all, your kids watch this. This guy does like things for all good humanity. Blah, 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 blah. Yes, he's got 300 million subscribers.
You know what? I have a bad memory. And now it's coming out that Lava said to Chris, you have a massive penis. And then Chris says, I just put my nudes in an SFW. Saying this is getting bad could not be more of an understatement. All right, here we have another one. Went through everything. This should be the last one. I don't think I missed anything else. This shows kids in the chat saying they're 13 to 14. More inappropriate convos Chris has. Some guy saying 11-year-olds are too young. And Chris responding the full context to the nudie SS, right? Chris is saying nuzzles peen. You got some weird role play stuff going on.
Nuzzles peen.
Double Waffle says, I'm 13, 14. He aged a year in 1 millisecond. Very cool. Nicholas says 11-year-olds are too old for me. Nicholas says, I got 3-year-olds. I don't know what the fuck that's in context to, and I don't want to fucking know.
Neither do I.
Chris says, I just put my nudes in not safe for work. This is absolutely weird. Even if you're going to pull the whole, like, it's out of context, it's all jokes, nobody knows what's really happening.
Look at Mr.
He's
Beast.
not. His penis isn't big enough. I'd know. Mr. Beast himself says, no, I know his penis size, and it's huge. Hayden asks, Beast, are you gay? That moment you deep throat a hole. Discount Milk says, I'll deep throat Krista Meme Gods. Krista Meme God says, haha, Mr. Beast joins in to comment on my penis size. I love it. And it goes on and on of them just talking about penises. And we have one right here of Discount Milk saying, banning bitches baby. Krista Meme God banned at Rod for gore. Chris says, should gore be allowed in NSFW or should it be only corn? Psychopath. This also came out as I was recording. STW, who was apparently Chris Tyson's sister, says, I'm his sibling. He and yes, I used the correct pronoun, told me that he got fully aroused when he secretly stole my female clothes and put them on. He's deluded and disturbed, and it's 100% a fetish. He's narcissistic, and professionals have told him he needs a full psych eval. Now, this is from Drama Alert saying alleged sister, and this person's page is private, so take this with a grain.
Well, that's just the tip of the iceberg, if you will. I'll show you his page.
I just dropped off 5 men and 5 women.
This is what he does. This is the kind of shit he does.
Women in the middle of the wilderness, and whichever group survives the longest with that 500 grand. I give you all 3 days. That money's ours. That is your side of the woods, and that is your side of the woods. And you are not at any point allowed to cross sides, or you'll be disqualified. You should go start prepping for your first night.
We out.
May the odds be ever in your favor. Men or women, let's see who wins.
He has his own show, and he is being accused of not giving them water and shit and food. It's not good. Why can I not click on this?
I just dropped off 5 men.
God. He does like 50 YouTubers fight for $1 million. He has 316 million subscribers. See you, Grace. Yeah, it's horrible. But I mean, this is real. Kids watch this, y'all. I mean,
I put 100 people inside of a giant circle, and whoever leaves the circle last wins $500,000. But if you touch the red line, it's game over. I don't care how long this takes, whichever one of you leaves last wins half.
That's just it. We're going back to this.
Hey, this chat does not look good.
Right.
You would think that would be
I'm
out
pretty
there.
sure there is. Yeah.
Maybe we'll have to come back to
talk about that.
You got to be in your kids' business. That's my point here. You got to monitor their online activity. You got to monitor their phone activity. You have got to be knee deep in your kids' social presence online, because if they haven't been targeted, they probably will be. It's not a matter of if anymore. It's when.
Well, I do think that it's very easy for us to think about the idea that, oh, my kids are good kids. And they are. We have good kids. Now that my kids are in their 20s and they tell me about some of the things they were up to in their teens, I'm realizing it's every kid's job to try to screw their parent over somehow, to try to pull one over on them.
Can we tell what one of our children might have done on a regular basis when they knew a bad report card was coming? Oh my God. We won't name names.
She was
genius. She's genius.
Yeah, she is pretty genius. So every time report cards would come up and she knew that she had some bad grades coming, she would hit me up about 3 days later when I'm really doing something very unassuming, like the laundry. I remember a time in the laundry room, she came with an armful of devices. She had
crocodile tears.
Yes, and crocodile tears. She had her DS with her. She had her cell phone with her. She had some other gaming device that she was using. I think she also had an iPod with her. She handed it all over to me and said, Mom, I'm going to have bad grades. You can just take all of these from me now. And like Sai
preemptive
says,
strike.
Yeah, it was this preemptive strike so that I would not assume any of.
Marion, since you want to give your opinion today, why don't you take this link and come up here and tell me exactly what is disappointing about this live stream? Come on up, Miriam. You do matter. You do matter. So I want you to come up and tell me how I've disappointed you. Let's get it out in the open and move past it. Because quite frankly, I'm sick of hearing about it. I love you, Siobhan. Come on up. Tell me why you're disappointed. Let's get it out in the open. You say you don't matter. Your feelings matter. I just gave you a link. Come up and tell me why you're disappointed. Let's get it out in the open. Let's move on. I want to know what is disappointing about this stream. Besides the fact that I probably won't get fucking paid for it because it's demonetized because of the topic. That's the disappointment for me. What's the disappointment for you? Come on up. You think I shouldn't be spreading the word about this? I mean, what's your deal? I want to know why you're against me spreading awareness about trafficking children. I really want to know. I'm curious. Because there's been plenty of people in here that say, oh, I can't stand this. Disappointed because I don't want Mr. Beast teaching my grandchildren about trans. I mean, do you think that I could talk about this topic and get paid? No, I can't. That's not why I'm here. But go follow the drama. Go follow 10 people on panel screaming at each other, thinking they know how this fucking investigation should go in the Sebastian Rogers case. Because that's all I've been hearing for the past fucking 6 months is 10 fucking parrots up on panels screaming at each other over how this investigation should go, like they're fucking cops. So come on up. Let's talk about real stuff. I don't have to agree with transgender. Last time I looked, I had an opinion too. And I'm not going to shove that shit down anybody's throat. Oh, it pisses me off. Don't fuck with kids. Don't fuck with cats. This is the new don't fuck with kids. Who in the hell gets mad about playing something educational to protect our children? Miriam, I'm waiting for you to join, dude. You rudely interrupted my stream, said that your fucking feelings didn't matter. I gave you a link.
Just help a brother out.
And you're not fucking coming up. So you're wasting my time yet again. So what's your problem? Melissa B, I fucking love you for covering the hard stuff. I fucking love you, Melissa B, for being here. Thank you for your super chat. Right. I don't want Mr. Beast teaching my family anything. Obviously, he's got no fucking morals. He's in Discord talking about penises and shit with underage kids in there. Who fucking backs that up? Miriam, come on. You interrupted my stream. Come on. Fuck. I can't believe I'm being interrupted for covering this topic. This is insane. Miriam, Earth to Miriam. You got big fucking mouth behind that keyboard. Where are you? God almighty.
Just help a brother out here.
1 hour, 2 minutes between Hendersonville and Rome, Tennessee, T-Dub. That's awesome. States your audio isn't working? Well, I can't help you with that. I mean, fix your mic, choose your mic. I don't know. Some people do have problems with this talk studio, so I'll give her a second. Yeah, you might have to jump out, jump back in. I don't know, but I'm waiting because I want to know why this is disappointing to you. That floors me. No, you don't need to be scared, Jillian, when I'm pissed. I'm passionate. I'm not pissed. I'm passionate about children. I care about the future of our children. I have 2 grandbabies that I worry about daily. She says her audio doesn't work. I know she might need to hop out and come back. Miriam's profile picture says bitch vibe. As a matter of fact, I retract that link because I don't want bitch vibes. I retract.
Other devices that she had that I could
Your profile picture fucking disappoints me, Miriam. Because that's not coming in with any kind of fucking attitude that I want to fucking talk to. You fucking offend me and disappoint me, Miriam. You do. Bitch vibe. Get the fuck out of here. Bitch, bye. I don't play that fucking shit.
Take away from her.
Precisely. She would pick the one device that she just couldn't live without, and she'd put that one away, and then she'd get every other device she could possibly find and overwhelm you with, like, Mom, I've been bad. Here you go. Here's all of my devices, hoping that you wouldn't put two and two together that, wait a second, there's one really critical one. And it's the last one you would think of.
Right. Well, and I think the other thing is that over the years, she had received so many devices between gifts from her dad, gifts from her grandparents, gifts from us, that I can't keep track of everything she has anymore. Or she could borrow her sister's things. So monitoring those actually became very difficult over time. So when she would bring me these things as a preemptive strike for bad grades, I couldn't even really have the energy anymore to go search her bedroom or anything like that for other devices.
Crazy. When I was still very active on the law enforcement side, I can't tell you how many cases I had involving a child, whether they were sexually exploited like this or they were just a runaway, and they would have a phone, and the parents' first thing is, yeah, but we turned the service off. They can't use that phone anymore. We turned the service off. What people don't realize is there's Wi-Fi everywhere. You can give me a Verizon phone.
Do you remember when the Proudfoot said, oh, well, we've got, limits, like these things are blocked? Do you think that Sebastian could have fooled them by, being able to connect and they didn't know it? Maybe he didn't have a burner phone. You know what I'm saying?
Kill the Verizon service. In today's world, it is very easy for me to use that phone in all of its capacities just through Wi-Fi. I don't need service. So if you
Do you remember that video of Sebastian Rogers was Verizon too? It said Verizon. Do you remember that? Are y'all remembering?
think about, probably every home in America has an old smartphone laying around.
Yes.
So you think you've got your kid's phone, their gaming platforms, all this other stuff. Well, they've got your iPhone 6 that you left in the desk 3 years ago that you've completely forgot about, hidden under your bed. And you take all that, and now they're on your iPhone 6, connect to Wi-Fi, they're off to the races.
Right. It's a novelty phone for them.
Yes.
It's vintage.
Yeah. It's like the old Atari.
Yeah. They blow off the dust.
This is going to sound really weird. It's not that difficult.
Seth said, let's play a game of Seth said. Seth said, son, I'll just clear out this old burner phone and give it to you. You can play Call of Duty Mobile anywhere.
To go out and save a bunch of children. It's not that difficult for law enforcement to simply say, hey, we know we have this problem. We're going to rescue as many kids as we can. Right. It doesn't fix the problem. In fact, it makes it worse because we're creating a bigger demand. If there is a need and appetite for the sexual exploitation of our children, and all we're doing is going out and removing the children that are being sexually exploited, all that's doing is driving more children to be abducted.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit more. I think it's important for people to understand that when law enforcement, you were talking about this earlier, when you rush to do something, we're only catching the middleman. We're not catching the top tier individuals who are even more unsuspecting than a middleman. They're CEOs of companies. They're prominent people in society who are oftentimes running these organizations or funding these organizations. And they're very much in the shadows. They have nothing to do with the primary crime. And again, it's that problem of we rush in to save these kids. We're doing the right thing. And although it does feel like the right thing to do, going back to your point, we're just creating more demand. We're not catching the real culprits behind all of this injustice.
Yeah, I got involved with a project a number of years ago, and it was a child rescue where they were going to rescue a number of children. It's in a different country, and then bring them back to the United States and place them in foster care and actually help these kids with their lives. And it was effective in helping those kids, but it was also done under the ruse of, well, this is how we combat child exploitation. And a lot of us involved with that realized, man, all we did is create a gap that they are actively filling right now.
Yeah.
Little bit. Thank you so much for your super chat. Jay, my son found a go around in Minecraft. He's 7 years old and has, I don't know what ASD means, but IQ 136. Kids are smart. My 5-year-old granddaughter is on the iPad, dude. She knows how to change filters. She knows how to do all this stuff. You know, I mean, I like to say they were born with, you know, the tablets in their hands, this generation. I want to thank Amanda for her PayPal donation. Very generous. Thank you so much. Autism spectrum disorder. Thank you. I know they're smart. I mean, like I said, my 5-year-old granddaughter is like a little whiz on the iPad. It's fucking scary.
Us rescuing these 10 children without looking at the entire problem just caused 12 more to be abducted tomorrow, right? And it's very similar to other criminal networks we see, drug cartels. You know, we can take a load of marijuana or a load of cocaine, a load of fentanyl off the road. There's 3 more that replace it tomorrow.
Unless you're finding El Chapo, you're not fixing anything.
Right. So that's one of the things I want to get out is everybody loves to get into the enforcement side, the rescue side. That is problematic in itself. So I don't think people realize the value of the average everyday citizen being knowledgeable on this subject matter, being able to affect change by recognizing these signs that we're talking about, being able to take an active role in preventing the child from ever being abducted. It is the most critical step in the entire process, but people minimize that they might be able to impact that, and they can. It's the easiest thing to do.
It could be a simple conversation that a really good kid out there just ignores. They never tell their parents about it because they know it's just a bad thing. But if you're not finding it and your kid doesn't tell you about it, then the problem just continues to persist.
Yeah. So kind of a happy ending with the story. No one dies. She is rescued. She's returned to her family. I can tell you she's doing much better these days. She is in a much, much better place.
Right.
It could have been so much worse.
It could have been. And I think the important thing to remember here is this was not her fault.
Yeah.
And I think it's important for us to recognize that and to help our kids understand this isn't your fault. We can't get mad at them when this happens to them. A teenager and adolescent is in a very different headspace than an adult who willingly communicates with someone who manipulates them online.
Yeah, 100%. So what else can we do? Like, what are those other call to actions that we can actually start impacting a little bit of change here? I mentioned LexisNexis, that data for good. Law enforcement having access to these type of tools is so important. If you have any role in your community, anybody can go to a town hall, one of your normal city meetings, and inquire, do we have these tools? Do we need more resources for this if this happens? It's that data for good. Now, LexisNexis, one of their primary fundraising things that they do throughout the year is they support NCMEC, which is the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. They take this subject matter extremely serious.
Right.
Okay, before we get into that, I want to remind you of this video, January 16th, 2024. This is Sebastian Rogers. I don't know if it's the Sebastian Rogers, but if you haven't seen this, I don't know if you can see this or not, but it is Verizon. At the top, you can see the Verizon. That's what we were talking about. Connecting to a Wi-Fi on a Wi-Fi gateway right here. Watch. It says Verizon right here. Internet gateway. Watch. And this says that it's Sebastian Rogers. So that's what I was talking about with the Verizon thing.
They're doing a marathon, a fundraising marathon right now. We're going to put the link down here in the show notes. $1, $5, $10. If anybody can go and actually throw some money towards that, all of the proceeds go directly to NCMEC, which is a great organization for the administrative side of organizing awareness for missing and exploited children. So if you can, do what you can. That's always a good thing.
We'll also post a couple of links if you are interested in learning more about how children are groomed online, what some examples of that look like. We have a couple of websites that we'll post for you that you can go and do some more education for yourself, and so you can help your children understand what that looks like more as well. I do believe that we need to have age-appropriate conversations at a very young age with our children to help them understand the dangers of talking with somebody who is using predatory behavior to reach them. It's one of the reasons we call this episode Spider and the Fly. That is a book based on an age-old poem by Mary Howitt. And if you get a chance to look at this book, it's a great way to start talking to children even as young as 3 or 4. I read this book to my kids during Halloween. Actually, it's a pretty tattered copy of Spider and the Fly, but they remember this book to this.
Okay, that's a good idea for the ones that have the younger children. The Spider and the Fly. It's a good way to talk to your kids about strangers and, you know, people using deceptive measures to get in their heads. No, I have not, Sarah. It's an excellent idea. And I think I'm going to buy this book for my granddaughter and my grandson. Very interesting. That's why they told this little story in the beginning. It's a simple way to bring the concept into your children's head without scaring the fuck out of them, without telling them things that they don't understand. It's age appropriate.
Day, when they see it, they actually say, oh, I remember that book. But it's a good, innocent way with beautiful illustrations within the book itself to start introducing your child to age-appropriate topics that you can talk to them about the dangers of predators and strangers who talk to them.
It is a great example of grooming.
It is.
It really illustrates that.
The whole book is pretty much, this is how you get groomed. Do not fall for this. Don't fall for this kind of information from a stranger or from a person.
Yes, to show your kids it's bullshit, you know? Teach your kids what's appropriate, what's not. Yes, it opens up a conversation. It's a great idea. Yes, I should put it on my wish list. Thanks. That's a good idea.
And you know, always come to mom and dad.
Yeah. And what else can we do, right? We talked about it a couple times during the episode. Man, it's 2024. You would think you would be able to monitor who your child is chatting with. You would be able to monitor those chats to see, is there any alerts because of the type of content that is within those chats. I should be able to monitor how often my child is accessing these different chat rooms and when they have access. And we've talked about this a number of times on other episodes. We're going to come back to it. Aura, A-U-R-A. We've got a little link down here, aura.com/socialite crime club. We have partnered with Aura. They are a paid sponsor of Socialite Crime Club. We partnered with them though because we believe in this product as far as its ability to bring a red flag to parents that something is going on that maybe you need to look at. It actually sends you an alert when it detects this content in different chat messages that is typical of predatory-like behavior. Super important feature, but it also prevents your child from downloading apps, chat apps, other types of apps that they could potentially be exposed to online predators without your knowledge. You have to approve the app for it to even get downloaded. It's super important. I absolutely think it's worthwhile. And in 2024, the common sense is, man, we should have tools like this. And the simple answer is we do have tools like this, but a lot of people don't know because they turn away. I don't want to know too much about this. It's a topic I don't like to digest. It's much easier for me to turn away, cross my fingers, that it's not going to happen to my child.
We hope that you join us for our live, where we're going to talk about all the different types of devices your child can potentially use to access online resources that a predator may have access to them from.
We're also going to demonstrate during our live episode on how you can look through your child's phone, whether it's iPhone or Android, to see what type of applications they have downloaded.
Okay, listen. I'm going to share his channel or their channel again. Sunday, they're going to be live and, giving more tips and telling you how to do these things. Sunday. That's in 3 days. And make sure you tell him Jay is for Justice sent you in the chat, please, because I criticized him after the Koberger thing and I misunderstood one of his words and he put me on blast in a video. He's like, oh, and Jay is for Justice. I said this, not that. I was like, ah. So when you go into his live chat, make sure you tell him I sent you.
And we're going to encourage you to make a couple of notes on what you might need in the event that your child is ever abducted or that there's an issue. Some of those apps, even though they're very dangerous and they expose our children to these terrible things, they have great tracking abilities. So your knowledge, letting law enforcement know my kid has these 4 apps on their phone, opens the door to law enforcement being able to potentially track them faster and much more accurate. So we're going to cover all of that in the live.
In addition to all of the email addresses that they might use or have access to include their school email addresses, etc. So those are things that we're going to talk about in our live. We hope that you join us, but please remember, this is a continuing process and conversation with your child. This conversation never ends, potentially even when they're adults.
And the last thing that you can do, and this is potentially the most important, share this episode. Communicate with your friends, your community. Get this out there. It drives me nuts. Hawk-Tuah. Do you know what Hawk-Tuah is?
No.
The Hawk-Tuah girl.
Some viral thing or something?
Yeah, there's this guy walking around, I think it was Knoxville or Nashville, and he's just interviewing someone. She makes kind of this crude statement about spitting, and she uses the term Hawk-Tuah, and she is like this internet sensation now. She's throwing out the first pitch of baseball games. She's showing up at
Thank you so much, Life's a Beach. You're welcome. And I would love to talk more about this. Absolutely. I would love to follow their series on this. I really like them. I didn't like him because of the Koberger thing in the beginning, but I really like this. I like the message they're sending. I love the awareness.
Concerts.
And now you're giving her more views.
And I'm giving her more views. And guess what else she started? Rescue the pets, right? We've got to have some more money put into that one. And don't get me wrong, I'm all about rescuing pets, but things like that in today's society goes viral, yet simple information like today's episode that could truly impact us getting ahead of this terrible trend we're seeing. We'll get 6 views. Share it. Get the word out there.
We might trend for about 3 weeks, but then no one cares.
Knowledge is the power here. This is how we effectively start to change this, is we communicate it, we vocalize it, we get it out there, we get it where it's set.
Yes, they are married.
Second nature. And when that happens, you're taking the power of these predators away because their common traits are so well known now, we see them coming.
Thanks for joining us this week, Socialite.
Thank you so much, Cy and wife. Appreciate y'all. Oh, thank you, Kels. She just sent me the link to the spider and the fly. I will share it with you guys. I think it's a great idea. It's a great place to start. Here is the link to the Amazon, to the book. Hopefully you guys will pick up a copy. Hopefully you guys, got something from this today. I know I did. It says here, will you walk into my parlor? Said the spider to the fly. Is easily one of the most recognized and quoted first lines in all of English verse. But do you have any idea how the age-old tale of the spider and the fly ends? Mary Howitt's warning, written to her own children, about those who use sweet words to hide their not so sweet intentions. Right? People who use sweet words to hide their not so sweet intentions. What's up, SS? Absolutely, Rhonda. I mean, help me, Rhonda. Help me, Rhonda. But yeah, I mean, it's adult children. It's everybody can benefit from this information. So again, they're going to be live on Sunday. Published in 1829. That should give you a hint as to how long kids have been preyed on and told sweet somethings that aren't so sweet. So I think it's a great way to end this live. Thank you so much to the Socialite Crime Club. Y'all are great. This is their channel right here. They have a lot of different videos. If you want to check them out, they talk about different stories. A before school abduction. Cop breaks rules to catch child abuser. I mean, they have so much info on here. Check them out. Oh, what's this? Oh, 9 police stories that are too weird to be real. I mean, there's all kinds of shit. But thank you guys for being here today. I'm going to wrap this one up. I don't know what his screen names were, but I know he had a Gmail, but I don't know what it was. Thanks so much for your support today. Thanks for becoming members of the Cooter Club. Thank you for your PayPal donations and your super chats. It really means a lot. We'll keep following this. I know that Sarah Boone is in court today. We'll be going over that probably this weekend. Tomorrow we have Coffin Daffer is hosting Dog the Bounty Hunter. Hopefully y'all will join me in Discord for a watch party on that. 2 p.m. on Friday. Again, thank you so much for being here today. I appreciate you all. And I'll see you in the next one. Maybe not, because I'm frozen. Can y'all even hear me?